Hello, hello. Time for some Shanks playoff action. See if we can get this postseason in motion. Thought this might be a good time to get it done. I noticed we had some broadcasts earlier. No, Dwayne was able to broadcast. I was busy at work. Chris Slovic was there this morning, and hoping this time fits for everybody. I've got some other obligations this weekend, but I thought, hey, can we get through this best of three in each of the divisions, and then possibly the um, best of seven, and maybe just stop right there and we'll know who the two teams in the Shanks 3 World Series would be. So let's see if we can make that kind of progress tonight. I know many people excited to see how the postseason plays out, but others excited for the next draft. So see if we get anybody join us here on a Friday night. I have been entertaining myself when I've had some off time, working with Chris Slovic on the state of the birth state football project. That'll be fun. I will say that little highlight, and I'll mention it before I go off here, that Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern, I will have a broadcast with Christopher Slovic. So it will be a fun time talking about our upcoming football project. So got a couple people. RJL. Robert is in the house. Beatles is here. Good evening, gentlemen. Going to be fun here. Probably going to do the first two rounds. I'll probably maybe have a little bit of drama and we can watch some of this sim out a little bit and take a look at the box scores to get through, call it the wild card round here. See if everybody's up for maybe simming out the divisional series then. And then maybe I'll pause and wait. We'll make a big spectacular out of the World Series in case whoever the two teams are that make it to the World Series want to do any roster adjustments. We could give them that ability. It looks right here with Kentucky and Manchester as the favorites. They get a bye. So what we'll be doing is watching Cleveland with a home field advantage against Canada in the best of three. And we'll see Las Vegas, Bernie's team, with home field advantage in the best of three against Dwayne Martz and the Hagerstown team. And what a good Friday it's been. Boy, I've been busy at work today. However, I did get a chance to listen in on some stuff earlier. I was Legends broadcast was great, and then all of a sudden I had some calls I had to get onto, and I had it in the background and did not get to see as season two has kicked off for him, which is going to be exciting to watch. So I might have to go back and watch that one. So let's take a look at the upcoming schedule. What do we have ready to go? I have uploaded the files that MV and Bernie gave me. I think World's Worst Gamer contributed one as well because Canada's in the playoffs. Um, Maybe Dwayne did too. I don't know. Pretty sure I got them all in. So what are we looking at? Take a look at our first scheduled game. And it is a 1-1-1 situation here, meaning we'll have home field for the higher seed and then on the road and then back at home. So we've got Canada going into Cleveland, a couple teams with very similar records. Same with Hagerstown in Vegas. Going to see we've got some high profile pitchers in Roger Clemens against Tiant and Chief Bender taking on Babe Ruth. And RJ, Robert, that is exactly what many of us thought too. Is the next draft, and If you think about it, this is where I think it really gets more interesting as we go into subsequent seasons because everybody drafted two franchises. You can only keep one. You don't have to keep either, but you can only keep one. And if you do, you can keep players, but only on the franchise you choose to keep, and you could keep up to 5 players. However, if you have Ty Cobb like I do in 1911, and I choose to keep the Tigers and Ty Cobb, I then have to progress a year, and I will get Ty Cobb the following year. So what's interesting for all of us that enjoy baseball research is we get to look at our rosters, figure out which team does it make sense to hold on to, which makes sense to let go, and a lot of that may depend on what some of these players are that we're going to keep, but we're going to have to look at that subsequent year, and brings a different element into that. We may also, hopefully, I know we've had some people express interest in joining. We could expand from the 14 teams we have, and there are going to be many great teams to choose from. Number one, we know that we're going to have either the Cardinals or the Red Sox available. We know MV's got to make a decision on LA, the Dodgers, or the Giants. So there's going to be some good stuff going on. And Robert, I might just throw this out here that maybe you had more fun drafting because it was a little downhill for you after the draft. As a Lions fan, I know what that's like. Sometimes we always said our Super Bowl was the draft and everything was downhill. But after last night, these are not the same old Detroit Lions. I'm just going to put that out there. So I enjoyed that game last night. Different attitude with that ball club. See who else joins us. Beatles has been quiet lately. Yeah, the Chiefs did play like crap. That's usually what happens when somebody beats you. Usually what happens. And as a Lion fan, those were the games where we would get close and the team would figure out a way to pull it out. And in that case, the Chiefs let one go. They're at home, all expectations. They had a chance. They let it go. And that's why this is different. Because as a Detroit fan, you realize this. It's pretty much you versus everybody. Although most people don't really hate the Lions, I find, because really the Lions have never done anything to your team. So there's no reason to hate them, unfortunately. And any respect I find that people have for Detroit, oddly enough, comes from Barry Sanders. When I've talked to Lions fans, I go, "You're not from Michigan? No. You like the Lions? How did that come to be?" I like Barry Sanders. I hear that a lot. Lions haven't done anything at all. Well, Robert, yes, they have. Don't you remember Bobby Lane? Come on, man. Just because we have to go back to the late 50s doesn't mean we haven't done anything at all, but pretty close to it. Well, let's take a look at this. We are going to get game one underway. We've got Clemens and Tiant right here, and we've got Bender and Ruth. And I don't know if I'm going to have a Big Clue is in the house, and Big Clue is eagerly waiting as he gets a bye. Different than getting a pass. Or is it the same? I don't know. I think the two things are different. Getting a pass or a bye. He gets a bye. He won the division. I think the only thing that really could happen is a huge miracle letdown because I think almost in 90+% of all the sims I did, big clue that your Kentucky team really, really was tough to beat. I think there was one time where there was like a three-way tie in the division, and I think it was Kentucky, Cleveland, and Canada. You can see Beatles. Maybe we have to have the irrelevant average playoff. We're both 82 and 80, as we can see here. Uh, you finished above 500 with teams you did not want, so I think we need to call that out. Uh, Good job drafting when you were given two franchises that didn't have the same history. So MV has my PayPal info. I like that. Oh yeah, but hey, it was better than the Super Bowl because back then, Robert, it was known as the World Championship. It was even bigger than the Super Bowl. Just saying. It was worldwide, as Pitbull says. I'm worldwide. Um, let's get into this. Any predictions for anybody tuning in? I think we got 5 people out there. Do we have any predictions on the Canada Cleveland? Who we're going to go with? Pretty evenly matched. Cleveland's a couple games ahead. Who are we leaning towards here? I predict this will be fun. Well, let's hope so, Clue. Let's hope so. Cleveland. These are the best of three, Clue. Yes, they are. They're going to go. It'll be one game at Cleveland. We'll see here on the 6th. Then on the 7th, we flip and we go to the opposite. And then we come right back to the higher seed location. They are a 2 out of 3 quick hit in and out to find out who's going to take on the juggernaut, Kentucky Colonels, and the amazing, I hate to say that. I don't even know if that's the right word, Red Bolts. Okay. And let's autoplay number 1. Oh, no, yeah, let me go back. Thank you. Let me go back to the 6. Let's do this right. Clemens and Tiant. Here's the autoplay button. What's going to happen? It's like rolling the dice, spinning the wheel. And we have Cleveland, as predicted, by Beatles. Let's take a look at this box score. What happened here in game 1? Big matchup. We got Roy Halladay against Addie Joss. Kind of batting did we see? 13 hits by that Cleveland team. Looks like they had big innings in the bottom of the 3rd and the bottom of the 5th. 3 for 4 in a losing effort for Lou Gehrig. Jim Thome, 3 for 3, knocked in 2 RBIs. Key home run. And Cleveland takes the win. Over to Vegas and Hagerstown. Give it a minute here. Who has any predictions for this? Do we go with Bernie and the higher seed Vegas Gamblers, or does Dwayne Martz and some of the intricate tweaking he's done with Hagerstown, does it pay off for him? What do we think here? For me, Vegas has always been, in some of my replays that I looked at, has always done really well. Great deep team. Boston St. Louis, yeah, I agree with you, Clue. They are just tough. Well, let's autoplay it. Let's see what we have going on here. Oh, I'm going on the wrong one again. Oh my gosh. Hold on a second. Did I just play? I'm over here entertaining myself with my commentary, trying to get everybody involved here. And I'm like, did I just play one out of order? I think I did. Let's go. Make that one go bye bye. How do I get rid of that dang game? He's going to go with Vegas. Tell me, does anybody remember how I delete that one game out of here? Let me think. I haven't had to go back and do this. Put a 6. Aha, right here. Still showing that one. Let's see here. Get some folks in. We've got. Let's go to that schedule. Well, here's one way to do it. I'm going to zip the file up. Let's take it to the downloads and let's just let her roll. And let me offer up this to anybody that wants to come aboard and provide some color commentary tonight. I don't know if Clue's interested, Robert, Beatles, anybody want to join me? I can phone you in on Discord and we can chat a little bit. I'm just going to redo, send the file back out into a postseason, and then go ahead and, since I mistakenly played one of their games on the 8th versus the 6th out of order, we'll get this all reset back up, eliminating those games. Robert, are you up? Oh, the Cubs 12 and Pittsburgh 2. And for those of you that joined, I mentioned it when I first kicked off, but Sunday morning at 9 Eastern, I will have a co-broadcast with Christopher Slovic, and he's going to highlight his whole approach and thought behind this football project based on state of birth, and who knows what else. Because if I got him on there, it's just a bit, um, who knows what it'll morph into with with Chris. It'll be entertaining nonetheless because he's super pumped up about this project, and he has a lot of the background of, again, I didn't even want to do this project. I thought that doesn't even appeal to me. One based on states, the baseball file that Action puts out has one. So Robert is resting because he's working. Understood. And you will see it does take time when you're zipping up a file when you have box scores, meaning when you have a whole season's worth of information, it will take a few minutes to get all that zipped up. I noticed Dwayne, when he wrapped up the season, having to take some time. I don't know if anybody caught on some of Dwayne's broadcasts. He'd throw in a little dice roll sound just to entertain me because I was teasing him that he wouldn't know what to do without hearing the dice, broadcasting just action games. But he had a little bit of fun with that. But it was great to see some others pick this up and start broadcasting the games. And I would say, as we go into the next draft for 4, um, take the same format, right? We can spread the wealth around. Anybody want to highlight some games and get to see the different teams in just enough of a variety to entertain us, and then we can roll right back into the strategy of drafting. And I know Clue, and I don't know if Clue, if you saw that, but Robert's already pumped up for the next draft, and I know you are. You were ready for the next draft during the last one. So, Oh my gosh, and somehow somebody has informed MV that we were broadcasting tonight and he's snuck in. Who knew? Everybody's being bashful tonight, MV, so if you'd like to come on and provide some color commentary while we kind of auto play through and try to build a little drama, um, your team is enjoying a bye. What I'm doing is I made a little mistake earlier, MV, and I played a game out of order because I wasn't paying attention. And now what I'm doing is rezipping the file with those removed so we can start fresh. And as we've seen with Dwayne at the end of the year, it takes a while for this to zip up. And it's odd that it takes this much time. Yeah, so much for the dress code. And we don't even know if MV is dressed or how he's dressed. So we have that. It's hot here. Well, you tell me when you're if you're ready to come on and as Beatles often says, do a little bit of a chin wag while we go through our postseason. So let's go to downloads. Oh, I'm just fired up from here. Shanks Bingo postseason. It's this one. Should set us back. Hanging out the window. All right, let's install it and let's go right back to where we should have been. Let's take a look at our scheduled games. We should have the very first round I put in. We do. And now I'm back to where we need to be on October 6th. We had some predictions, MV, earlier. I think the consensus for those that weighed in is they're going to go with Cleveland in this short 2 out of 3. And I believe Vegas was the favored one in the other wild card just because of the franchises, St. Louis and the Cardinals. So here we go. Tion and Clemens. And immediately I look and those box scores are still there. Are you kidding me? So what am I seeing different? Who knew it would be this hard to get this thing going? There's that game that was played. We want to make it go away. Now, one thing I could do is this, since we've got it on a backup. I'll go right here. Let's take a look at. Hey, legends, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are moving up through. Okay, got this one set. If I've got to run this one, now I'm going to go and take a look at the postseason version and see. Hmm. Odd that one. Hey, you tuning in. Bear with me while I'm trying to get a good starting point here. And we're going in right here. We're going schedule game right to October 6th. And here we go. We are ready for playoffs. This is Clemens and Tiant, Canada at Cleveland. Yes, we're going to continue out of order. And Cleveland with the win, a 6-3 win. Let's take a look at this. It's a short best of two, or best of three. That's 2 out of 3. And Canada trying to fight back after giving up 6 in the bottom of the second. Cleveland with a big second inning. Tiant goes the distance, outduels Clemens. Clemens goes 1.1 innings, gives up 5 earned runs, and gets yanked based on the settings that World's Worst Gamer has. Shockey comes in, Griffith, McDaniel. They cannot close the gap. Take a look at the batters. Shoeless Joe leads the way with an RBI. And Cleveland takes a 1-0 lead. Now, Vegas and Hagerstown, Chief Bender against Babe Ruth. And Vegas with a big win against Dwayne's team. Let's take a look at this box score. Napoleon Lajoie, 3 for 5 over there in Hagerstown in a losing effort. Ted Williams leading the way, and we have a one hit, must have been a home run. Yes, it was. Grand slam by Ducky Medwick, the DH, knocks in 4, leading the way for Vegas. MV, this MV that's been talking with overconfidence throughout the year now is suddenly trying to leave. It's almost like he's trying to prepare himself for an eventual letdown because the regular season record means nothing if you can't win the series you're in. So I sense this trying to set himself up for potential disappointment. I don't know. It could be me. Could be me. This was quite a game here. 13 runs. Ruth with the win goes the distance, gives up 6, but they got to Chief Bender pretty early. And there we go. So now we are switching and going to the lower seed for a home game on the 7th. Vegas and Hagerstown. And remember, it's best 2 out of 3. So let's take a look at what we have here. Can Hagerstown tie it up? And they do not. Vegas comes in with another huge effort and wipes Hagerstown off the board. Advancing to the divisional playoff, Vegas will now be matched up against MV. I think MV might be a little concerned. We'll see what he has to say. Let's take a look at this box score. Harry Breachin goes the distance for Vegas. Pitches a gem here. Strikes out 7, gives up 2 earned runs. Greg Maddux only makes it through 3 innings. A lot of runs here by that Vegas team. Look at Stan. Oh, we went from Medwick hitting a key grand slam to going 3 for 6 in this one. Stan Musial in the leadoff spot, 4 for 6. If we stop and look at this lineup for a minute, you can see those first 5. I don't know if any team has a more fearsome batting first 5. I'm going to stop right here. You guys tell me what you think. But Musial, Hornsby, Fox, Williams, and Medwick, that's 5 tough batters right off the bat. So Bernie moves on to the postseason. And let's see what happens here. Will Canada tie it up? They do. We are going to have a deciding game 3 back in Cleveland as Roy Halladay pitches a shutout. Let's see what the details are of this. What a game, right? Canada jumps out 3-0, doesn't look back. Lou Boudreau at shortstop goes 3 for 4 in a losing effort. Wade Boggs and Yogi Berra lead the way. 13 hits, 6 runs for Canada. Big day by Halladay. Pitching, it gave up 10 hits and not 1 run. It's a little bit of clutch on display right there. So we go to the 8th. Let me say, we won't need. We're going to go to the 8th of October, and we do not need Hagerstown in Vegas. We'll save that. And we will go back to October 8th. And here's the big game. Any thoughts? Any thoughts on Cleveland holding up? I think Cleveland's the favorite. Al Downing going against Stan Kovaleski. And here is the game. And world's worst gamer on the road comes through with the Canada A's, and they win 9-7. So it looks like Big Clue in Kentucky will be hosting Canada to start the series, and the Las Vegas Gamblers are headed to Manchester, hopping a plane now. Holy moly is right. Let's take a look at this game. What happened? Canada has a 4-3 lead. An 8-4 lead dropped down to 8-7 and then gets an insurance run. So a little bit of offense in this one. Al Downing gets yanked quickly, and then the staff comes in and holds it down for him. Stan Kovaleski gets rocked, gives up 2 homers, 8 earned runs. Let's take a look at the batting side of things. Anybody stand out? Rocky Colavito had 3 for 4, and nothing really looked like a real team effort over there for Canada. Henrik coming in at DH, like a real team win. So here we go into our league championship series. So here's what we'll do. Friday, we're going to pick up on the 10th. So I'm going to go ahead and schedule these out on the 10th in this fashion. Starting on the 10th, got to get to the right month. October 10th. Wrong place I was at. October 10th it is. We will start off, and we are going to go with Las Vegas. We'll go at Kentucky for 2 straight games. And we have Canada. I got the wrong stuff going on, don't I? Oh my gosh. I got everything messed up tonight. Okay. We will go to the 10th of October. Let's try this again. And we will say we have Kentucky at home. And we have Canada headed into Kentucky to start off 2 games. We have Manchester hosting Las Vegas, 2 games. The 12th is a day off. Then we come back 13 and 14. We're going to go Manchester at Las Vegas for 2, and Kentucky at Canada for 2. 15th will be an off day, and we will have Kentucky at Canada, Manchester at Las Vegas. Actually, that's just one. So now when we see the schedule, we'll see if we get this far. October 10th, Canada and Vegas on the road. October 11th, off day, travel day. Then we head to the opposite fields for 2 games in a row, an off day, and then they wrap up their third game, off day, and then we'll come back on the 18th and we'll go back home where it's Manchester for a 2-game series at home. Las Vegas and Kentucky at home against Canada. And we got it set up. It's the playoffs, baby. What's up, Aaron Reed? And here we go. Let's play our next scheduled game. Move on down the road here into October the 10th. And let's start it off. Manchester starting off with Juan Marichal. Ooh. Vegas going with Adam Wainwright. Let's see what we got, folks. Is it a red bolt or do the gamblers have the momentum? And Manchester comes away with game 1 at home. Juan Marichal. Looks like Barry Bonds leads the way. Let's take a look at the box. Manchester gets out 5-4 game in the first 3, and then it goes scoreless for quite a while. And then Manchester puts a couple insurance runs on in the 8th and holds it down. Let's take a look at the batting. Manchester, no doubt MV's got all kinds of secret things he's looking for here with his lineup that's in here. Bonds leads the way with 3 RBIs. Medwick 3 for 4. He's had a great postseason in a losing effort there. Pitching wise, Marichal. You know, if you can go the distance, give up 4 earned in this league, it's a great effort, and he did. Wainwright not bad, but just could not equal Juan Marichal. Let's take a look at batting. Jackie Robinson, was he pinch hit? So let's take a look at miscellaneous. Could there be an injury? An ejection? What happened? Let's go to the recap. Don't see anything interesting in the recap about it. Let's take a look at the miscellaneous again. I don't see anything standing out here. Garvey hit for Robinson in the first. Interesting. Maybe he was ejected. I didn't see it if it's called out somewhere. Let's see. Did you see MV? Was it in the miscellaneous? I don't see anything. Score sheet for Manchester. Yeah, he got pinch hit for right. I mean, not even an official at bat. I don't know if he got in an argument, if he tripped. We do have in-game and one-game injuries on, meaning they can't be done. But I mean, wow, it didn't matter. Now let's go over to Kentucky. Let's take a look at Canada coming in. Pulled out that road 3rd-game victory to get through the wild card and into the championship round here. And let's see what we've got. Canada on fire lately, gets a game 1 win on the road against Kentucky. Roger Clemens with the win. He had lost his first postseason start, but he comes through now. Let's see what Canada's got. Canada's got Ricky Henderson on DH, playing DH and on the leadoff spot. We got Joe Gordon, 3 for 6. Lou Gehrig draws 3 walks, 3 for 6 for Donaldson at third, Josh Donaldson. Wow, the bats came alive. 14 hits for Canada. What's the story of the pitching? Noodles Hahn, who had been great. I want to say Kentucky had some of the best pitching in the league. Does not hold up in game one here, and we've got Canada out to a 1-0 series lead. Let's go on to the next day, the 11th. The Manchester Red Bolts looking to take a second game here at home. Babe Ruth against Don Sutton. And MV, this is a key component of his lineup, this Don Sutton move. And MV showing some signs of having confidence in what he's put out there as far as his rotation. A 5-1 Manchester win. Take a look at the box score here. Babe Ruth goes in 6 innings, but gives up 5 earned runs, gets pulled. Don Sutton pitches a 4-hitter. Great game. Had some plus stuff. Batting wise, what stands out? Well, Babe Herman. Let's take a look at it. Gus Mancuso. Dave Bancroft, a 4-for-4 day with 2 RBIs. I don't know what kind of tinkering MV's been doing, but that is crazy. So he's got a 2-0 lead. I notice he's been a little quiet right now. He doesn't want to jinx himself. He's probably a little superstitious, I would bet. And here is Kentucky trying to get a win now. Their second game at home. We've got Dolph Luke and Griffith going against each other. And Kentucky, Canada is on a roll here in the postseason. They're 4-1 total in the postseason. They've won 4 straight, I believe. And Kentucky drops 2 games at home. What is going on with Kentucky? They're not operating with a full bucket of chicken, that's for sure. What are we looking at here? Cooper DHing 3 for 5. Interesting. We've got Wade Boggs. Kill the wild card, he says. Take a look at pitching. Griffith, Dolph Luke. Rough. Let's take a look here. Now we've got a day off. No game schedule. And we flipped it around. Now, Kentucky on the road, headed to Canada, headed to Sarnia. And Manchester goes on the road. So can Manchester get a key road win and really kind of put Vegas on the ropes? We've got Clayton Kershaw on the mound. MV's team's nothing to be laughed at. MV, it's okay to laugh at him, but his team's pretty good with that rotation. And here is Kentucky at Canada. Pedro Martinez against Roy Halladay. What are we going to see here? And Canada is out to a 5-1 lead. And you know what's funny, Cole? I'm just realizing, yeah, we did kind of kill the wild card. This is just now it's moved on to the higher level wild card called the Championship Series. Canada 3-0 lead as Kentucky drops another one. What is going on with Kentucky? Not hard, a 3-hitter. And what's going on with the pitching? Kentucky, Martinez, not a horrible outing. He goes 8, but gives up 5 earned runs. And Roy Halladay shuts them down. And Clue says, get out the brooms. Let's see what we got over here. Can Manchester continue the winning ways with Kershaw on the mound? Here's what we're looking at. And no, Vegas. Looks like every team has held the home field so far. Vegas comes out 7-0. Kershaw on the mound. Manager MV probably felt really good. See what happens in this game. Kershaw only makes it through 5. Marquardt comes in there in relief. Harry Breachin gets his second win of the postseason. Pitches a shutout. And here we are on to the 14th. So we got Canada looking to wrap it up. Walters against Al Downing. It's strange. Al Downing in that Canadian roster lineup. And Canada shuts Kentucky out. A 4-game sweep of what I think everybody would consider the best team in the league on every sim that everybody has done, no matter what we've tried. You couldn't have convinced me that Canada would sweep Kentucky in 4 games straight. Unbelievable. What is going on? Walters, 9 earned runs up in 3 innings. That is a huge upset. Al Downing with a shutout against that Kentucky team. Hats off to the AI manager. Yeah, and should we have a revote, I think Big Clue was manager of the year. Um, Maybe we should hold off on that voting until after the season. A sweep, eh? Yes. And World's Worst Gamer, instead of his stress ending, now if I don't go all the way through if I was to pause tonight and him see that he's made the World Series, this might cause him some extra anxiety. So I don't know if we should just plow through and knock the whole postseason out tonight. Um, that may be up to everybody here, but we'll see how that goes. So now we've got Vegas and Manchester, the drama. And Manchester takes a 3-1 lead over Vegas. Let's see what's cooking here. What do we got? Wyatt gets the win and goes the distance. And this is part of the chemistry that MV's put out there. Big win there. Jackie Robinson this time, I guess, I don't know what happened. I've never seen anybody not be able to have an at bat. I don't know if he tripped on his way up to the plate in that one game, but he's back in rare form leading off for MV. Had a great game here. So when we go to the 15th, it's another travel day. And I'm going to go ahead and delete 16 and 17. We don't need this one. All right, so now let's go back in and play them. Those won't be on the books anymore. We don't need them after that. After the brooms were out. So let's head on over to the 17th as we travel back. And now we are back to wrap it up. We've got Manchester leading the series 3-1. And again, MV playing the cautious, not wanting to put all his hope out there to be destroyed. But what happens here? And Manchester, with a chance to wrap it up, loses. This series will go 3-2 in Manchester's favor. But what happened? Let's take a look. We go into extra innings where Vegas puts 3 up. Manchester tries to come back and falls short. What stands out here? Babe Herman in a key DH role. I can see Manchester must be platooning Jackie Robinson and Steve Sachs, possibly. That Musial, Hornsby, Fox, Williams, Medwick batting order is still scary. Juan Marichal, they got to him. See what the recap is. A ton of work here. Jimmy Fox with a key 3-run homer to take the lead um, in the 11th inning. So Jimmy Fox coming through big in that one. And now we move on to um, the 18th here. And Manchester comes through and wraps it up, putting themselves in the postseason against Canada with an 8-3 win. Let's take a look at what happens in this one here. Manchester pulls away in the 7th inning with 4 runs they put on the board. Look at the hitting line there, 17 hits. Herman with 4 for 6. So if we look in the postseason, Babe Herman and Dave Bancroft both over 400 standing out for Manchester. And on the pitching side of things, Don Sutton, 2-0 in the postseason, comes through. And here we go, setting up the postseason to die for. So the postseason will start on the 21st. So let me do this. We'll go set up October 21st. First 2 games being at home, that would be Manchester. Who have we got? Yeah, Manchester has the better record. So we got Manchester at home against Canada. And we're going to go 2 there. 1, 2, day off. And then we're going to go 2, Manchester at Canada. So let's see if we get that far before we get the other ones, before I start playing it out. Now, let me put this out. Should we stop, let everybody regroup, think, fret, worry, replan, redo, or should we just roll it right and be done with it? What do you think? And I may sim a couple and then get right down to where the series could be decided and then go ahead and fire that game up. And let's go and watch some of what could be the key game. Roll with it, baby. So let's see what we got here. Scheduled game, October 21. Clemens and Kershaw. What a matchup. And Canada is on fire. 7 games a row in the postseason. Clemens, look at this. 6-hit shutout. Kershaw doesn't, he makes 6 2/3, gets hit with 4 earned runs. Need batting line stand out here. See what people are doing in the postseason. Look at the bats for Canada in the postseason. 444 for Henderson, 500 for Joe Gordon. Gehrig underperforming, DiMaggio as well. But look at the other people picking up. Bautista, Donaldson, Bell. Everybody but those 3, 4, and 5 hitters are really kicking in. Not much on the hitting side, only 6 hits for Manchester. I guess it's okay to have an off day once in a while. So let's move on to the 22nd. Manchester, can they avoid being swept? Halladay, who's 2-0 in the postseason. And Halladay is now 3-0 in the postseason as Manchester drops the first 2. What is going on? Wow. A-Rod going 3 for 5 over here. Mel Ott 3 for 5. What is going on, MV? What do we make of this? Canada is on a and an 8-game winning streak in the postseason, came from behind to win that best of 2 or 3, sweeps the heavily favored Kentucky team. Halliday against Wyatt. What a game. Halliday could be the postseason MVP. So we've got a day off, and now we're headed off to Canada. Can MV and the Red Bolts do better in Ontario? Let's see. And Manchester, it looks like a road team benefit in this postseason series. Woo, it's Roy Halladay. And Manchester avoids going down 3-0. Al Downing gets rocked early. Marichal gets rocked early. But guess what? Plus stuff for Shockey. Of course, you got plus stuff, and he still gave up 2 earned runs in 2/3 of innings. So what did that matter? Take a look at the batters here. Lou Gehrig, 2 for 4 with a home run and 4 RBIs in a losing effort. And what happened? Davis, a third base for MV, 4 for 4, 3 RBIs. Babe Herman might be the most impressive player so far for Manchester in the postseason. And I don't know if MV wants to comment on this, but he's a DH for a reason. That didn't happen by accident. 5 RBIs. Big win there. Can Manchester tie this series up? Don Sutton's been 2-0 in the postseason. And Manchester brings it back. So we may get down to a crucial game that we can broadcast where somebody can actually win and have a little bit of fun here tonight. Herman, my guy, but no glove. Yeah. MV has pulled square. So we've had all 4 games, the road team win. What do we have here? Wow. Look at how many innings this game went. 18-inning win by Manchester. Unbelievable that innings 10 through 17 are scoreless. What the hell is going on in this postseason? 9 at bats for Yogi Berra. What a game. What a game. Let's take a look at the pitching. One good thing is if you go 18 innings, there's good pitching staffs in this Greats League. Wow. That is a crazy, crazy game right here, right? 16 hits, 14. Not a lot when you spread them out over 18 innings. That is crazy. Wow. So, had our off day 2. We are tied up 2-2 in the series. We have another off day, and we stay for one more game on the 27th that I'm going to have to schedule now. So we're going to go to October 27th, and I guess we're going to need it. 25th, 26th, 27th, and we'll have Manchester one more game at Canada. One game. And then, then we'll have a travel day, and then we'll go set up 2 where Manchester gets, if we get that far, the last 2 games at home. And those will be 2 games. Wow, wow, wow. Well, let's get back to that game. Let's see who takes the edge in this 2-2 series. Here we go. Final game in Canada. MV's really enjoyed his visit to Ontario. They've won their 2 games there. Kershaw against Clemens. Kershaw, for some reason, not impressive in the postseason. Let's see what happens here. And he comes through right when I give him a hard time. And Manchester takes a 2-0 or wins this one 2-0, taking a 3-2 lead. So if you remember, they dropped the first 2 games at home, came back and won all 3 on the road at Canada. All 5 games the visiting team has won. Not what you'd normally see. We've seen some crazy stuff so far. Take a look at this box score. MV will definitely be happy to see Kershaw pitching as he would expect. Clemens pitches a really good game, but wasn't good enough. What about our batters? There's that beauty Dave Bancroft, 412 in the postseason. Very good. Bats got a little quiet on that one. Canada's really been doing well. Kershaw shut him down. And here we go. 28th will be a travel day, and now we are back at the 29th. Halliday against Marichal, and you guys let me know. Are you guys up for it? Since the game's on the line here, and MV is up 3-2, should we broadcast this? And let's fire this game up and go computer to computer and watch the drama. Give me a thumbs up, somebody, because I think this is the way we need to go. And I haven't seen anybody say anything, so I'm just going to assume I'm going to roll with it. Let's do it. The pink hand of despair tells us what we need to do right here. And here we go. So, we have, tell you what I'm going to do, MV, is haven't seen World's Worst pop in. So what I'm going to do is, well, we got Marichal against Halliday. And what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and set the options to you on computer, him on human, and here we go. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh my gosh, and I don't have the pictures or anything. So you know what I'm gonna do? We'll pick this game up. I'm gonna go over here and drop in my, what's this one called? Shanks, Howie Shanks end of season. Howie Shanks end of season. Let's drop them here. And away we go. Let's resume that game. Now we got pictures. Let's play some ball. This is an image I got of Dodger Stadium from some game and ran it through some enhancements. So see what we got. We've got Wade Boggs leading off against Juan Marichal. Yeah, the pitch to Boggs. Boggs sends this one into right field with a single. He's aboard. Leadoff hit for the Canada A's. And here's Yogi Berra. And he walks. And wow, Wade Boggs is on. What the heck is going on? I probably don't have these set up, so let's go to ballpark layout. Whereas, yes, this is why second base is not at the pitcher's mound. It should be there. Thank you. And postseason, Lou Gehrig. The pitch. And he walks. Yogi Berra going to the old second base. Now he's at the new one. So, MV, how are you feeling right about now? You got a 3-2. You could get this one wrapped up, and Juan Marichal has the bases loaded with nobody out to start this game off. I don't know what might be going through your mind. There's a high pop-up in the infield. Again, the higher resolution picture you have, the higher pixelation, the longer it will take for these to come down in the animation, I've noticed. And that goes out to Pete Reiser in center field. And what just happened there? A cheap hit. It drops in. Boggs scores, Gehrig to second, and we got the bases loaded. No out and a run home. A-Rod.
Batter's out.
Oh, infield fly rule in effect. Batter called out. Davis at third base. Looks like he's going to make the catch. He does, and we have the first out. So here's Mattingly, infield playing normal.
Strike 3.
And Marichal bears down and gets the key strikeout. And here's Tommy Henrich. The pitch. And he sends this out to left field. I don't know if it's going to be in play. Bond's over. And he will make the catch, ends the inning, but not before one run gets here. And here is Jackie Robinson leading off for the Red Bolts. Let's go with no change. Here we go. Get the pictures bigger. Jackie Robinson.
Strike 3. You're out.
Boo. Here's Babe Herman.
Strike 3.
Melott. And what's interesting right there is we had another pitch hit in there at the beginning for Jackie Robinson where Zach Wheat came in and pinched hit. What the hell was going on with that, MV? What kind of crazy tinkering has MV done in the background on pinch hitting settings that have seen Jackie Robinson get pinch hit for before he even steps to the plate? There's Johnny Mize. Sends this one out to right field. Mattingly going back. And this is out of here. Johnny Mize comes through. Crazy, crazy. Let's go back to this here. Let me go back and see what we can read the replay here. Okay, here we go. Zach Wheat is now batting for Manchester. So right before your second baseman was ready to hit leadoff, they pinch hit Wheat for him, just like in one game they did Garvey. MV, what the heck settings have you got going on that is ready to pinch hit in the first inning before they even walk up? I just don't know. Here is the third baseman, George Davis. Nice play by Halladay, gets the out. And that'll bring up George Bell. Marichal had a rough first inning, but settled down. And this is a liner. Great play by Bancroft. He may be the MVP of the postseason so far. There's the pitch. Stuffy Sternweiss sends this one out to right field. Melott makes an easy catch, and we have two down, and here's Wade Boggs.
Not to go on the field and not to interfere with baseballs still in play. Anyone going on the field or interfering with baseballs still in play will be requested to leave the stadium.
And glad we could get that public address out there. Please be safe out there, folks. Please be safe. Here's the pitch. Boggs on a grounder back to Marshall, in time over to Mize, and that will retire the side. And we've got a 2-1 Manchester lead as we go to the bottom of the second. And with no lead safe enough in this league. Barry Bonds leads it off with a single to right. Here's Pete Reiser. Reiser. I call him Reiser. I don't know. Roy Halladay. And somebody asked earlier what Halladay's season it was based off of. It is 2008. Roy Halladay. And here's the pitch. Bonds moving on the play, and he will swipe the bag. His third stolen base of the postseason. Bonds showing some speed, and he's in scoring position. Boggs comes in on the little bunt dribbler, moves Bonds over to third. It looks like Reiser gives himself up. We've got one down. Runner over at third, and here's Beauty Dave Bancroft in. And he grounds this one to Garrick at first. They're not going to go home. Looks like he'll make the play himself. Bond scores. We got a 3-1 game, and Buster Posey steps up. And this one's down the right field line. And here I'm just realizing we've got Don Mattingly out in right field. Take a look at what's going on with him. And he did play 6 games in real life, and he's a 5, a 6 arm. Hey, not too bad out there. You kind of forget about Mattingly doing a little bit of outfield play, or at least I did. Smart move for Canada, eh? Here's Yogi Berra. Walked in the first inning. Sends this pop-up out to Mel Ott, who makes an easy play out of it, and we have one down here in the top of the third inning. The Iron Horse, Lou Gehrig himself, he walked as well in the first inning. Little dribbler down to Davis, makes a poor play, but he's up with it, and not in time. Couldn't get it out of his glove quick enough, and Lou Gehrig's aboard at first. And here's Joltin' Joe DiMaggio. Big piece of this Canada success. And he sends a single into right field. Will Gehrig stop? Yep, he'll hold up. Poor play out there. Looked like that got by Sachs. He might have been able to get to it. Makes its way into right field, and we got 2 aboard. Correct me if I'm wrong, rest of you Shanks Leaguers, but I think DiMaggio was one of the best players in our replay. Here's A-Rod. Popped out his first time up. And this one's on the ground to Dave Bancroft. Is he going to be able? No, he's not going to go for 2. He's going to try to make that throw to first. It's not in time. And A-Rod is aboard, and we've got runners safe on all bases. 1 down, and Don Mattingly coming up. Manager MV, I don't know what he might want. And, we do have, what the hell, we're down to the last game of the season potentially. If you need to wave that pink hand in the air like you don't care, it's always an option, MV. Here's the pitch to Mattingly. A single through the right side, and that'll score a run. Base is still loaded, 1 away, and we've got a 3-2 game now as Canada's putting together a little action here in the bottom of the third. Tommy Henrik up, flied out his last time. Pitch from Marichal, and Marichal bears down like he did in the first inning when he was in a jam. It's a key strikeout, only his 2nd of the game. And here's George Bell, based on his 1987 season. It's a pitch. And Marichal, when he needs it, 2 key strikeouts when he's in a jam, and gives Manchester a little bit of relief there and keeps that 3-2 lead. So here's Steve Sachs playing second after Jackie Robinson was pinch hit for. Some kind of wizardry going on with the AI coaching. Halladay with the pitch. Sachs pops this one up. Boggs over at third. Looks like he might have room for it. Up in the air it is. Up in the air it is. And he's out, has plenty of room. And here's Babe Herman, who has struck out his first time up, but really been a big hitter here in the postseason. He's batting .393. Let me see what he's got. In the replay, he's batting .327. He's come down a little bit, but he was really hot in the early series. Dwayne Martz, hello, Dwayne. Hello, Texas Ags. I've just got to say, Dwayne, you'll have to go back and watch it, but you did not advance out of the best-of-3 series, and it's been quite entertaining as we are now in the World Series, Manchester leading Canada 3-2. So I'm broadcasting this game so that we can see if Manchester can close it out, or do we then roll right into a decisive Game 7. D. Scott, welcome. We've got several people joining us tonight, and here's Babe Herman. Gets some wood on the ball, going back, and this one is gone. Home run to right field. Manchester increases that lead to 4-2. Mel Ott coming to bat now, a 352-foot shot. First of the postseason. And that's got to make MV happy. Here's Mel Ott. Going to keep this rally going. Bat's coming alive. And here's Johnny Mize. Johnny Mize hit a 2-run homer in the bottom of the first inning to get that lead for Manchester. Grounder to A-Rod. A-Rod flips to Sternweiss. Quick pivot over to Gehrig. And that'll end the inning, but not before an extra run's added on. And MV and his Red Bolts 4-2 lead as we head into the 4th inning. Yes, it is the 3rd, and a lot of people on here. Well, MV's in the hunt. World's Worst Gamer, he might be on a date tonight. I can't remember if he was going on a date or whatever. The poor guy's probably missing a ton of anxiety as his team was down 1-0, and he rattled off 8 straight wins, won the wild card, swept Kentucky 4-0 in the division championship, and now is down 3-2 to MV. So it's been a really fun series. Here's the pitch. Stuffy Sternweiss fouls that one off. Pitch from Marichal. This one's lined back up the middle, and Sternweiss, getting aggressive, is able to get 2 on that one. Lead off double. And Juan Marichal has found himself in trouble almost every inning and then bears down and gets out of it. Here's Wade Boggs. Dribbler, Marichal over to cover. Mize gets it in time. And we got 1 down, but there's that runner on 3rd. Yogi Berra up. 0 for 1 on the day. He walked and flew out. And he draws his 2nd walk. The Iron Horse stepping up. He walked in the first, singled in the infield, beat out an infield single in his last time up. Puts this one over the head of Davis into left field and will drive in a key run. And I don't know what happened there. I don't know if Bonds took his time, fell asleep, but Gehrig makes it into 2nd. Berra goes to 3rd, and we have a 4-3 ball game, folks. It's going to be, I have the feeling it's going to be a tense one. Here's DiMaggio. Oh, we got a pass ball or a wild pitch. What is it? Wild pitch scored on Marichal. Berra comes home, Gehrig to 3rd. MV, let me know if that pink hand has to go up if you're getting tired of Marichal. A little dramatic here in this game. Grounder to Bancroft. He's going to concede the run to get the out, and we have a tie ball game, folks. 4-4. All good. MV has faith. And just when I say that, he walks A-Rod. So we're not out of this one yet. Mattingly 1 for 2 on the day, playing right field. Hits this one hard, but directly at Ott, who doesn't have to move, and that'll end the inning. And Manchester, coming up here in the bottom of the 4th, we've got George Davis. Don't know much about him. Hell of a mustache. Lines this one right back up the middle, and Stan Bonson is in the game now. Where the hell did he come from? Halliday gets, I don't know what kind of crazy stuff World's Worst has going on, because he's sent in the special lineup. He's been tinkering around with pitchers and limiting innings. So we've got Stan Bonson, the Bonson burner. Wow, he walks Bonds. Nobody out. 2 men on now for Pete Reiser. And they're trying to keep Davis close at second. We don't know why, but Reiser up through the middle. That's going to get Davis home, I think, as DiMaggio bobbles the ball. It allows Reiser to go into second. And here we go. D. Scott tells me it's Reeser. Tomato, you say tomato, I say tomato. I'm going to have to retrain my brain, D. Scott. Here's Buster Posey. Couldn't stop that wild pitch that came into play last inning. And here's the pitch from Bonson. And Posey will walk. Manchester now with a 6-5 lead. Steve Sachs playing second. Strange Jackie Robinson pinch hit in the first inning. And Sachs sends this one back up the middle. And bases are loaded, 1 down. And here is one of the biggest bats of the postseason. Already hit a solo homer this game. That's Babe Herman. A slug in the outfield, but MV loves him at DH. Here's the pitch. A pop fly out to center. Looks like DiMaggio with great range. This should get the run home. He makes a catch. Reeser goes home, and we have a 7-5 lead. Again, no lead safe in the Shanks league. Here's Mel down the line, all the way to the wall. Here he comes. We got 2 runners coming in. And Ott trying to get to third with a triple. He does. And the Manchester Red Bolts open this one up with a 9-5 lead. And we got another pitching change. And here Griffith comes in relief just in time. That Bonson burner has flamed out. Rube Marquard coming in. What do you think of this, MV? Is this by design? Could this be the AI learning from all of the tinkering MV's done? Here's Tommy Henrik. And you know what I wonder? Should I? No, I shouldn't. I'm thinking, should I do my best to try to keep Canada in this? But hey. Here's the pitch. Henrik, ground ball to Sachs, over to Mize. 1 away. Marquard. Fly ball to Bonds. 2 down, and here's Stuffy Sternweiss. 237 in the postseason. Good at second base, and he keeps this inning alive. Single up the middle, and that'll bring up Wade Boggs. Wade Boggs is 333 in the postseason. 1 for 3 on the day. Oh, trying to keep Sternweiss. Sternweiss, a lot of probability to steal at 87% over there. And it must have been a hit and run. He was moving over in time, and that'll end the inning. And Clark Griffith in to pitch to face George Davis. Let me ask you this, Beatles. I'm not familiar with George Davis. He's a Hall of Famer. But is he a worthy Hall of Famer? Might have to look into George Davis. Here's a pitch. And he draws a walk. Barry Bonds. Intentionally walked. Trying to keep Davis close. Griffith, it's his job to keep it close and try to get the Canada bats going. And he strikes out Bonds. Pete Reeser steps in. Hits this one out into the center field area. DiMaggio coming in, makes the catch. Davis back to first. We have 2 down. There's Dave Bancroft batting 400. Yes, that's not a misprint. 400 in the postseason. And the pitch, Davis on the move. Here's the throw down, and he's safe. His 6th stolen base in the postseason puts another runner into scoring position. MV getting aggressive on the base pass. And here's the grounder. A-Rod up with it over to first, and Bancroft is safe. We got a throw that pulled Gehrig off the bat. That would be an E6 on A-Rod, and this inning is not over. Buster Posey steps in. And the pitch. Posey sends this one into right field, and the hits just keep coming. Bancroft takes third, and Posey, with that throw over, sneaks on into second. A second error, E9 on that one from Mattingly. Having Mattingly out in right field may be costing Canada that extra bat. And here we go. Griffith in here trying to limit the damage. Almost was out of this inning. Looks like he finally is, but not before giving up 2 extra runs. We got 11-5 game. Shouldn't Canada be a Toronto-Montreal mix? Well, D. Scott, not in this league, because you get to pick the name, your city, and it's the 2 franchises that you happen to have. In this case, Canada has, remind me, folks, which ones are they? He has the Yankees and Toronto. Yogi Berra, Rube Marquardt in to lock this one down, and Sachs up with the throw. Berra is out. Pitch to Lou Gehrig. Gehrig's going to pull this one foul. Gehrig has singled twice and walked on the day. And he walks again, his 3rd walk. I know this is the time that MV would love to see some 1-2-3 innings. DiMaggio sends this one back up the middle. He's probably the best consistent player on that Canada squad. And we got 2 aboard for A-Rod. What's A-Rod done on the season? 259 in the postseason. Singled and walked today.
Infield fly.
Infield fly in effect. Batter out. The high-resolution ball field drama known as a high pop fly. Davis makes the catch. Here's Don Mattingly trying to make up for that error, and he lines this one opposite right to Davis, who snags it, and that'll end the inning. We're going to the bottom of the 6th, 11-5, Manchester lead. But any estimations on this? Does Canada close it? Because as we've seen in the Shanks League, we've seen some teams come back for some big deficits. Here's Babe Herman. Already had a solo homer in the game. And he's aboard with the single to left. Oh no, he's getting greedy. MV must have the aggressiveness turned up on his manager profile, because Babe Herman swipes second. Here's Mel Ott. And he sends this one out to right, and it is gone. We now have a 13-5 game as Manchester at home trying to lock down this World Series championship. And MV looking to be the only person to win a McGreevy League and a Shanks League, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know if somebody in the stat booth can confirm that or not. But here's Johnny Mize as he steps in, and we got a grounder out. Oh, Gehrig with the play makes it 1 down, and here's George Davis, the worthy or maybe not so worthy Hall of Famer. Ground out to A-Rod. And the pitch to Bonds. Bonds strikes out, so anybody notices the scoreboard, you might see something unique, that there is a run in every at-bat for Manchester. through 6. Here's Henrik.
Strike 3.
And Marquard coming in, pitching a real good game in relief of Juan Marichal. And here's George Bell aboard, 1 away single. Stuffy Sternweiss, second baseman here,
Ball 4.
draws a walk. Yeah, you know, it's funny, Big Clue, when you say 1. Playing golf, any of you golf, you'll appreciate this, but a good buddy of mine, we were playing in a two-man scramble against 2 other guys, and the one guy we were playing with was a little competitive, and he kept making little snide comments. And my buddy, who's a really good golfer, had not hit a good drive in about 4 or 5 holes, and he stepped up on one hole and just striped one right down the middle. And the guy we were playing with, in true, a-hole fashion, as my buddy picked up his tee, he said, 1 in a row. And I couldn't stop laughing. I thought, do I laugh at my partner now? But that was a good one. 1 in a row. Here's the pitch to Boggs. Boggs sends this one out into right field. Mel Ott. Looks like he may have it. He does. Runners will have to hold. 2 down now. It's up to Yogi Berra. I know World's Worst Gamer's out enjoying a date, or what else was he? What did he get the other day? Wasn't he ordering some pizza or some fast food? I don't know what he got. Taco Bell. He's having a good time. Here is Yogi Berra, steps in, keeps it alive, sends it to left. George Bell on the move. Is he coming home? He is. And Canada inches 1 run closer. And it's a 13-6 game here. Let's take a look at a 2-for-2 day. 2 singles, 2 walks for Lou Gehrig.
Strike 3.
And he strikes out right when they needed him most, folks. And we'll be right back after this 7th inning stretch. And while we pause for station identification, let's take a look at what we've got going on here. Pete Reeser up at the plate. We have Mariano Rivera in now. And here's the pitch. Rivera gets a little grounder back to himself over to Gehrig, and we've got 1 down. And here is that 389 batting, Dave Bancroft. And Rivera gets him to ground to A-Rod. A-Rod, who made an error last inning, gets this throw over in time. And here's Buster Posey. What's Posey's story? Well, he's had limited action in the postseason. Must be a platoon situation. 429. He's playing pretty good. Yeah, the exchange rate, D. Scott. Always love living close to Canada and having those nickels and dimes and everything mixed in with all my change and quarters. So here we go. Joe DiMaggio coming in. First goose egg on the board in any inning in this game for Manchester. And here we go. MV, let me know if you're up to it, because I definitely, when we wrap this up, would like to go down on the field for a post-game interview or anything. So if you're available on Discord, give me a thumbs up or something, and I'll be sending one of the roving reporters down there for an on-field interview. Here's the pitch, and DiMaggio goes down swinging, lunges at that one. And here's the pitch. A-Rod hits this one hard. Is it going to stay in? It does. Bonds grabs it deep for the second out. And here's Don Mattingly running out of chances for this Canada team to mount a comeback and put these bats in action. And we've got a pop up in the infield here. Looks like it's going to Steve Sachs. And it does. And we're out of the inning. Bottom of the eighth. And here's Manchester with Sachs leading off. Mariano Rivera still says he looks fine. Let's see how far he goes. Canada not waiting to get some of the relievers in here. And he gets the ground out, 1 down. Lindy McDaniel comes in the game, right? We're seeing some bullpen action here. And he gets a ground out. So Lindy McDaniel in the game. Pitched 9 innings in relief, giving up no earned runs, though, in the postseason. Here's Mel Ott, 3 for 3 on the day with a triple, a homer, and a single, and he's walked. So if he gets a double, think about that. Is there something special if you hit for the cycle and walk? Does that have a name? Maybe it should. Let's see if there's a double in order for Mel Ott. Mel Ott fouls this one back. Pitch from McDaniel, and Mel Ott goes down. And Manchester still with a 7-run lead, 13-6. And here we go into the 9th inning. So let's take a look at this. I've got it on Human. Let's add some drama here. Heinrich's lefty on lefty. What righties have a better chance? What do you say? Jose Bautista. Coming in the pitch. Pinch hit. Here's the pitch. And Bautista strikes out. But if we win, MV says. Oh my gosh. Look at this guy. Always putting conditions on things. Here we go. George Bell steps in and he grounds it. A web gem by the 19th century George Davis, who MV said was notorious for making errors in a previous league, up with a web gem play. And we are down to the last out. Now, let me do this here. Stand by, MV. We're going to go down live to the field here. Waiting to see if you got your Discord ready. Let me know. I'm going to dial you in. We're down to 1 out. A super cycle, and it's only been done once. I never have heard that term, Clue. Thanks for throwing that out there. I'd never heard about that, but that's pretty cool. Do you know who did it? I'm going to guess you do, if you're willing to share. Oh my God, Jim Gray's so obnoxious, isn't he? Ha! MV is the super tosser. Oh boy. The old bet on baseball. I'm just laughing thinking about what a turd the guy was. Let's see. I'm going to dial MV. Let's see if MV's ready for the call. Sending Jim Gray down there.
Steve.
Yes. How are you?
It ain't over until the fat lady sings. It's not over.
We have what I would call a packed crowd. We've got 14 people in here tonight watching this.
Wow.
And you're on the verge of winning the Shanks 3.
Well, let Rube get this final out because I'm very superstitious, as you know. And in the Shanks League, no league is safe.
Well, let's take a look at this. Now let's try to make it. We can't just lay down for you here. World's Worst isn't here, but Stuffy Sternweiss is in there, 29% hit chance. I don't see anybody really that much better, right? 30, 29. He's 2 for 3 on the day. Do we let Sternweiss? This is a group decision here. Do we let Sternweiss bat, or do we bring in like a Ricky Henderson or a Joe Gordon or another right-handed bat to try to keep it alive? What do we think? We can't let MV just celebrate too quickly. What would you do, MV, if you were?
Oh, I know exactly who I'd put in there.
I think you'd put Ricky
I,
Henderson in.
I, no, I wouldn't.
Really,
I
Joe
wouldn't.
Gordon,
Nope.
Josh
Nope.
Donaldson,
It's
Birdie Creed.
no Bob Musial.
Oh, because you're looking at the
Home
power.
run chance. Yeah.
Really,
And he doesn't strike out that much, and he's got the most run percentage.
I agree. We're trying to keep it alive. Here comes Ricky Henderson. I love
But
Texas
but
accent. All right, here's the pitch. Marquardt
come on, Rube.
and
Come
he
on,
walks.
Rube.
Ricky Henderson. What
Gee.
if this was the start of the biggest comeback ever in postseason?
Yeah, you set me up beautifully, haven't you?
Now, okay, MV, Marquardt is showing red. Do you roll with him, or do we do something?
No, I trust the AI because
Okay.
he'll bring a Rod Beck. Rod Beck will come in. I trust the AI. I've set it up for these situations. I'm a situational manager. Let the AI take over.
And Wade Boggs. MV, how does it feel?
Yes! The Red Boat Nation of One is happy.
Yes, and think about you've put a lot of thought into not only the draft, the lineups, the tinkering, the testing, the simulations.
Well, I have to first of all thank Beatles Eternally for encouraging me to get in part of this community, first of all. So that's the first thing. The second thing is,
Awesome.
thanks to everybody, Steve, you've been amazing at getting me on these little chats and stuff and winding me up and making me competitive. Without you, this is not possible. I'm playing around here, by the way. And
Well,
Big Clue.
hey, this sounds almost genuine. Keep going. It's good.
No, well, it's genuine. I mean, I'm so much fun. Listen, I've stayed up until, I'm 6 hours ahead of most of you, or 5 hours ahead. For me to stay up at night and play these games and broadcast, it's been so much fun. And I hope more people join the league. I might add, and this is just for Beatles. Beatles is quite correct. I did win the Ned McGreevy League, and the team has won the this Howie Shanks League.
Wow.
So it's been so much fun. Todd B with the idea, yourself, Big Clue, everybody. World's Worst Gamer, who I know worked his butt off. Bernie and Dwayne have come in this year, and I know Midlife Crisis was runner up, I think, in the Ned McGreevy. I hope he comes back as well. There's so many to thank. But joking aside, I mean, I was serious there, obviously. This has been so much fun. I can't wait for the draft because I don't know who to drop. I'm going to drop a franchise. Do I drop my Giants or do I drop my Dodgers? I have no idea.
Let's take a look at Manchester. Let's look at their postseason. So there's postseason replay right here, okay? Maybe what should we look at here? We can see, like, by most games played there, but look at Mel Ott and Dave Bancroft, over 400 for both of them in the postseason.
All Giants. I can tell you a story behind each player, but I will say this. Rube Marquardt in the, Clue says the postseason, and even towards the end, he didn't get much games in the regular season. But I had him as my spot starter or blowout pitcher. But against Las Vegas, I always remember a couple of nights ago when Bernie was breathing down our necks, Vegas and Bernie.
You bet.
And Marquardt had to face, Beatles will remember it if you get Beatles on, he had to face that lineup. And he had a bad game a couple of days before, but Rube came home and he did it again today. I am very happy. And this rotation, Don Sutton, Clayton Kershaw, Don Drysdale. If you notice, I put Drysdale on the bench a little bit for the playoffs or for the postseason.
Yeah.
Whit Wyatt's been a great surprise. Even Joe McGinnity, who I don't trust 19th century. You know what I'm like with Cy Young.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like Cy Young. And the bullpen, once I did a bit of tinkering, Rod the Shooter Beck, Needham Fuhr, Wilson, Broxton. I mean, come on. This is a great side. It's just been my favorite
here's the
team.
thing. You have a bond with some of these players, just like a real manager does. Now you have to decide you're going to cast one franchise aside.
I wish Clue didn't put that rule in. It's a great rule, though. I mean, everyone knows I like Chicky Stoll, and Chicky didn't make my team for the first time ever. So I'm hoping to get, if Bernie's serious about dropping the Red Sox, and my luck gets the Red Sox, I'm going to draft Chick Stoll. Chicky has to come back to
But
the Red
isn't that
Bulls.
what's so cool about other people that have maybe been on the sidelines and watched or want to get back in? We've had 14 teams participate here. I would love to see us go to at least 16 or 18 or
Oh
20.
man,
And for people thinking, well, I'm just coming in, how is it going to be for me? There will be prime franchises available because you can only keep one. And we have what Las Vegas has given up, either St. Louis or Boston. You've got to give up either the Giants or Dodgers. What else is out there?
it's gonna be fun.
Legends had two that I always laughed at. They weren't great like franchises for winning, the White Sox and the Senators, but they have some
Yeah.
great players for great seasons. And
Oh
so,
god, I mean, I think the thing with this thing is that we've all had fun. I've all moaned at the AI, but as you know, it's tinkering the AI. I mean, some of us take it just that little bit more seriously, like myself, but the AI is actually pretty good. It's just about how we
okay,
manipulate it.
tell me the secret. What are you doing so intricate, the intricate little moves that you're making that are causing Jackie Robinson to be pinch hit for in the first inning?
I just before the playoffs, I did tinker with Jackie just a bit, and I just think I over tinkered with it. That's all. He has played in he has actually played in the postseason, hasn't he?
Yeah, he
He
did.
has
He did.
played,
Let's take a look. But he got
but there
pinch
was
hit
something
for.
I think. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think I overdid it with him because I was trying to platoon him with Steve Sachs. As you saw, Sachs did
Yeah.
play quite a lot in the postseason.
Yeah.
But I think I overdid it. World's worst game, if you notice, also tinkered to such an
Oh
extent.
yes.
I know Bernie's coming back hard because he says he's got it. And I know Todd's going to come good with his Cleveland, yourself, and Beatles. If we all have time to do it, of course, it's regular life goes on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So,
But I think
I
as you
somehow
mess
found
with
the
it,
time.
the next time you get more comfortable because the game has so many options. And again, I got
Yeah.
to say this last year, being part, you thank Beatles in that too, and I will too, for
Oh God, yeah,
finding that there's other strange people like myself that love this kind of stuff.
yeah,
But one thing he did is it kind of I had an opportunity to kind of help share some insight into action that helped out in the McGreevy. But then I started getting more into the actual baseball game and the league aspect, and I started digging into things that I had not done in years, like all of the
yeah.
features, right? I mean, and then I'm like, oh my God, there's so many features I didn't even know were
It's
here.
deep. It's deep. I mean, the amount of times I sat down with a piece of paper thinking, right, my lefty lineup, my righty lineup, how does it work with the AI? I watched you show me
Yeah.
last season with one of your tutorials, and I thought, okay, that makes sense.
Todd
And then
B. Todd B's here. Just
Todd,
want to
what's
say hi to
Todd say?
Todd.
Yeah, Todd says, I saw Todd say, thanks, Todd. He says he's going to come up with an idea
Oh
that
yeah.
I suck. But no,
Yeah.
it's great. Thanks, Steve, for having me on again. And all those nights we've spent having a laugh, you know what I mean? It's been brilliant. So,
This has been great.
yeah.
And Todd, if you didn't see it earlier, you were up a game on Canada, and then Canada
Oh, my
ripped
God.
off 8 in a row, beat you 2 games to win the mini series, went on and swept Kentucky, much to Clue's dismay, and then went on in
Yeah.
and won the first 2 games against MV and put MV down 2-0.
And Kershaw as well. Kershaw's my best pitcher. He's my
Yeah.
number 4 starter for the postseason because he's got a penalty. Can you click pictures just to see if he's got that penalty on him? Because I know I was worried is he going to get a penalty? I had to rest him in
Oh, I'm looking at the
September
wrong
just to
team.
make sure. All right, sorry. Uh, has he got a penalty on
No,
him
you're
when he
good.
get a
And
chance?
if we look at him, yeah, he's good.
But he lost 2 games. I was like, what? He's my ace. Although I play him in the 4th spot
You know who
for
was
the
a
postseason.
disappointment was Marshall.
In the postseason, yeah, he won game 1 of the divisional playoff series. In the regular season, he won 20 games. I didn't even
Oh
risk
yeah.
Drysdale. You know, it's so much fun. I've learned so much history. George Davis, midlife crisis had him in the McGreevy League. I think midlife had him,
Uh-huh.
and we called him. He made 3 errors against of course, my Manchester Red Bulls in the World Series. So, but I was very tentative about drafting him. But he's turned out really well, I have to say.
Oh yeah. Hey, look at all the kind words here. And yeah, and I agree. I think it's the camaraderie, and there's two
Ah, it's
things.
great fun.
There's the appreciation of the baseball itself and the history. Number one, I think we all enjoy the history of this thing. It's the camaraderie of it, but it's also like a nice escape from normal nonsense. The stuff.
Of course it is.
And today I was so pissed because I had some work stuff I had to deal with, and I had Legends game on.
Oh, man.
The
Oh yeah, I watched
starting
Battle
off
of
season
Legends as
2,
well.
and then I had it on in the background, and then when I finally got off this call and stuff, I look over and oh my God, it's ended now. So now I'm gonna have to figure out how to go back and watch it and stuff like that. So it is fun popping around and seeing that.
Oh
And
yeah, it's great. And I look for my players in other broadcasts. Do you know, in Legends, I look at, I think last season was Melot, and he had
yeah,
a lot of Giants, didn't he? So my team seems to be Giant orientated, but we play in Dodger Stadium, you know.
it's
So I don't know
crazy.
what I'm going to do. I have no idea. I need Clue to change the rules or something because I don't want to give up this Red Bolt Nation, this team ever. You know what I mean?
Well,
But
he's not going to
if I've
change
turned
the
it,
rules to your
he's,
benefit.
he's not.
You have to know that, right?
I'm gonna find an angle, man. But thanks to all you guys for educating me on baseball. Obviously, I had some knowledge, of course I did, but you guys have shown me the intricacies, and I've gone real deep
Well,
now.
Batana, you've gotten
So,
deep and been growing like month after month with getting into this kind of stuff, and
yeah,
it's actually it's fun. And what I know, Robert came on here earlier saying that he was already ready
God,
for the draft, right? And of course, it's easy for us, those of us that aren't in the
RGL,
clubhouse, to
yeah.
say that, right? But I mean, think about it, because now this draft is going to be unique. We're going to be expanding, no doubt, and we're
I
going to
didn't.
have a different approach. We got to figure out if you keep a franchise and you can protect up to 5 players off
I
of it.
just. I wish it was more. I really. Todd just realized about the Red Boat Nation, but it's a Red Boat Nation of one,
No, it
Todd. So
is.
don't.
It's a nation.
But memberships are open.
Yeah, yeah. It's
But no, seriously. I mean, I can't. When
it's
is the
more like
draft?
a
That's what I
dinner
want.
reservation. MV party of one. Your table's ready. Let's see.
That night with Ken when he called it out, it was so funny. Um, yeah, I mean, D. Scott Howard's just saying great fun, even though he didn't have a horse in the race. I mean, he was there last year. I remember D. Scott. We traded Koufax for Marichal, D. Scott and I last year.
I'm
So
gonna
no, it's good
look at
fun, Steve.
this. Let's do a little looking into this. Okay, if I'm MV, if
Mm,
I'm you, I
yeah.
might lean towards
Oh
the
man,
Giants
don't.
right now, only
That's what I was
because
thinking.
if I look at who performed in the season, I'm going to lean towards the Giants. Now, let's say I keep somebody. We've got Marquard. You like him, right?
I do like
Marshall.
Marco after this season.
So
Yeah,
let's take a look. We've got Marshall in
yeah, but they
69.
age by 1 year, don't they? They
So
age
you
by.
got
So
to
we're
look
gonna
at
have to take.
1970 to see if he's worth
Yeah,
keeping.
and Marshall's coming towards the end of his career because this is 69 Marshall. So he pitched
16
well for me this
Marquard.
season.
You know what, MV? I know you've already probably done some preliminary research along these lines.
Mm.
Am I right?
No, I haven't. Seriously, I haven't. I literally am looking forward to doing it. But I know, for example, Don Drysdale is reasonable, and Don Sutton definitely stays really well. But Marichal, I think, will decline. Kershaw will stay good. So my Dodgers will stay good, but my Giants, there's the power. You got Johnny Mize, and you've got Melot back to back. They're deadly. Barry Bonds. Who would you give up?
You know, if I
It's
look at that for
impossible.
you, and I'm going to go back in, I said, but I'm with you. If you keep this, you have chances to look at a Marquard year or a Marshall year that would be good. And
Yeah,
it would be looking at which franchise gives you better players to keep for the next
yeah,
year, or also remembering you can only keep up to 5. Uh, which one gives you the best draw for the
yeah.
next draft as
Well,
far as
it's
random years?
crazy. It's crazy. I wanted to ask Clue, are we, or Steve as well, see, are we keeping and protecting any 5 and then drop the franchise, or are we dropping a franchise and keeping 5? Does that make sense?
No, I think
Oh,
you just blew my mind.
right.
I
So
actually
we
think
have
you
to.
just locked my mind down.
So we could keep 5. We could
Yes.
keep 5 on our roster, right? Right. So say for example, I wanted to keep Melot, Johnny Mize, who are Giants, but then keep Jackie Robinson, Steve Sachs, and Steve Garvey as Dodgers. I can keep those 5, but then I have to drop a franchise. That's what I meant.
No, I'm going to think, and
Uh,
Clue, correct us on this. I think you have to select which of your franchises, if any. You don't have to keep either. You can throw both back in, which Beatles
no,
may do
I'll
with the
keep
2
them.
he has, right? But then
I don't
after
want
you
I
declare, you
don't
got to declare Giants or whoever you're keeping. And then once you keep a franchise, you
protect.
can then protect up to 5
Oh
on
man.
that.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Let's to find another way to win next year. All
Yeah,
right.
because you think how unfair that is. How unfair you're going to cough up the Dodgers, but you've got a couple of the great
I
players
know, I
out
know.
there. That's
It's
not
still
really.
got to keep the league balanced. You know what I mean? I just hope I pick up the Red Sox,
Oh my
which
gosh, can you
would be so
imagine?
funny. Can you imagine exactly?
But you know what's funny? Some people had great franchises and couldn't get the players in the years they wanted, right? Think about even probably
Yeah,
yourself.
Mays and
Um,
Koufax. Yeah.
and again, it's going to be fun time. So I think rather than rolling into this too soon, we should give it some time to
Yes.
simmer, wait, have some
Yeah.
broadcasts on Beatles channel, really good accounting of who all wants to participate, so we can
Yeah.
grow it from the 14 we have. This is a blast.
Oh, it's amazing. Thanks for having me on, Steve, and
You
thanks to
have it,
everyone
and
in the league.
just a little plug. Chris Slovik's going to join me, even though this is
Oh,
our
cool.
Shanks League. We're going to talk about his. He wrangled me into this project for state football teams based on the state they were born in.
Yeah, I
So
remember.
Sunday morning, 9
Yeah,
a.m. Eastern time, he and I will be going live so that he
cool.
can go crazy and explain his inspiration behind this, how he sees it, how he's going to run it in a European like soccer style
Soccer league. Yeah, World
format
Cup one. Yeah.
with teams getting to play each other home and away in like pool play, and then how he's going to grow this on into
Yeah.
a tournament. And then he's going to look at broadcasting. I'm working on the file. I've got Pennsylvania done today, so I have Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania teams already done, and photos for
Yeah.
all of them.
Cool.
And
I remember I saw it the other day. We had me on broadcast. So I'm looking forward to that. I was
it's
just
a
looking at the
blast.
screen. I just saw Zach Wheat. I didn't realize he didn't play much in the regular season. He hardly had a 10 at bats, but he played in the
He
postseason.
pinched hit
He had,
before Jackie Robinson could step in the box.
yeah, he didn't do badly. He had 2 for 3, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll leave you with that, Steve. Thanks for having me on, though.
Appreciate the interview,
Really
MV, and
appreciate it.
enjoy some sleep if that's what you're going to do or whatever.
Yeah, big clue. Make it
Yeah,
complicated, but no,
Beatles
see,
is like, no, I can't do either. Beatles has also, if anybody hasn't heard this, he's given permission for the actual word football to be used on his channel.
really,
Unless I need to be corrected, but I think Beatles has come down a notch and said he's not into football, he's not going to be partaking, but saying the word foot is allowed.
I'll remember that next time.
Always
All right,
change,
I'll
always
jump
change.
off. I'll jump off.
Thank you and
But thanks again,
congratulations on
Steve.
Howie
You're
Shanks
welcome.
3 and
And let's look forward to next season.
enjoy it.
Yeah, cool. All right, guys, take it easy, everyone.
All
See you,
right.
Steve.
Appreciate MV joining us for the on the spot winning manager there. But no, it was a real fun season. I Beatles is like he's moving onward. Appreciate everybody tuning in. Had a good showing tonight. It was a blast. I think now it's like if you're coming back, think about which team you're going to protect. Those of you that have not participated but want to get in, let me tell you who will be available. And what it is we do a random draw and then we draft franchises. So you can have two franchises. But if I look at this, Canada has Toronto and the Yankees, so one of those will be available. Cleveland, what does Todd have? Let's see if we can figure this out. Oh, he's got the Padres and the Indians. He can only keep one. I have the Angels and Tigers. Uh, Beatles, in some odd turn of events, ended up with the Brewers and Diamondbacks, but finished above 500. Great job there. Ken Castro has what's known as the old guys or the old timers pre 1900 defunct teams and the Phillies. He'll have to get rid of one of those. Atlanta, Milwaukee, Boston. So at Milbos, we've got John's who got this team here, which are the Braves and the Orioles. So one of those. Kentucky. This is the team that really was tough in the regular season and disappointed us in the postseason. They have the Cincinnati Reds and the Expos Nationals franchise. Manchester again has the Giants and Dodgers, which one of those will be available. Bernie has the Cardinals and Red Sox. One will be available. Long Island has the Senators Twins and the White Sox. One of those will be available. Deerfield Beach is running with the Mets and the Pirates. One of those he will have to make available, at least, if not both. Arlington is the Texas Rangers and the Mariners. One of those will be available. Texas, Aaron Reed's team, he has is it the Rockies? Who do you have, Aaron? He's got, oh, no, it's the Kansas City Royals and the Astros, right? That's who he has. And Hagerstown, Dwayne's team, he has the Cubs and the A's. So if you think about it, there's going to be great franchises that won't be able to be protected that'll be out there. We wondered. I don't know if he got I mean, I don't know if things took a weird turn and he was arrested, lost, abducted, or whatever could have happened. When you're searching for a woman, you can head down a variety of paths. I don't know. I hope the best. Maybe he's just busy, but hope nothing bad has happened in pursuit of a relationship. A Red Bolt dynasty. Yes, yes, yes. He started taking college courses online. Yeah, it's been fun. I can't believe this, but we we are now at the end of the season and we have 16 people logged on to this nonsense that we call a hobby. How cool is that? Um, he did post in there. Clue, I don't know if you're out there still, Clue. If you've got any bandwidth left in your life, let me know if I can ping you and bring you on here for a little chat. Beatles, I don't know if you've got any parting thoughts you'd like to say here with the league or your experience. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know, and I'll be happy to ping you into um, a Discord chat here while we're chin wagging, as you call it. I like that term. And I'm looking forward to Aaron, or I'm sorry, Chris. He has so much passion around his projects, and I think it's cool to work with him on one and then have him take it and then do what he does best, which is, I think, kind of just bring the broadcast to life, right? And it'll be cool to kind of be in the background and watch him take those teams and have fun with it. And he's super pumped about this plan he has. So that'll be great. And then Legends has got part 2 of his league kicking off. And if anybody missed what he did a couple nights ago, when nobody filled the void and he stepped up and tried to really gave us a good glimpse behind his process for how he does the data, because he's doing something that's trickier than what I do. Action lets me take a lot of stats that are easily obtained and get them into the game fairly easily. He has got to take a lot of different sources and convert all that into attribute numbers for these games that he's doing, like whether it's MLB The Show or the other stuff, right? And that's it's got its own unique twist to that. So I found it fascinating to listen to his logic on how he builds seasons. And I was like, oh my God, he's spot on. In other words, there's a lot of the approaches and the thinking he has around like how important fielding is to him and all 3 components of hitting, pitching, and fielding. And I'm the same way. And some of the pain you go through with the research to make sure that what you have is a good representation. He has a higher hill to climb, in my opinion, because he's taking some of these games that aren't set up statistically and then trying to figure out on the outside, how does he formulate key statistical elements into attributes that the game has. And I just found it fascinating. So if you have not seen that or been following what he's done with the Legends sports universe, definitely go over there and do that. And Beatles is waiting for the call. Here we go. And this is what we call chin wag time. Hello, hello.
Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, it's chin wag time.
What's ringing? Is somebody else trying?
No, I think you're here. You're coming in loud and clear to me.
There we go. Hey, guys.
What are your thoughts on the league?
So, you know what? I mean, it's wonderful, and that's an understatement. I think the thing that I love most about this project, and you've already talked about it, is community and everybody
Yeah.
like just coming together, man. That's what's fun. And the last 2 Shanks at least, right? There's been no drama. Everybody's been cool and understanding it for what it is. It's a lot of fun, and we've got other people wanting to join in. Michael Silva was here earlier tonight. I don't know if you
Oh,
saw
that's
him.
going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So, but as I typed in the chat, I mean, a huge, I mean, Todd for giving us the original idea, but also really to you and Big Clue for making this an amazing experience. You guys did beyond the lion's share of work. So you guys, and I know you're, all kind of like trying to brush that off and stuff, but you guys really deserve a standing ovation for what you've done because you guys you made it possible, both of you. All the grunt work on draft night, all your work on the cards, just everything, and keeping this thing on track. So the community owes you guys a huge debt, seriously, and looking forward to a lot more fun going
Oh, good.
forth. Yeah, man,
Can you
it is scary to think that there's 16 people in here at the end of this. So
Oh my God,
yeah,
it's
right?
crazy.
How about it?
That's a
Yeah,
big night here for well, for any of us. And when we're doing it, we're up in the teens, right? You're like, wow, we got a pretty good crowd. And oh, hey,
oh yeah.
Bernie's here. Look forward to watching. Yeah, Bernie, go back. Won't spoil it all for you, but we do have a winner in the league, and there was some excitement and interest along the way, for
Oh yeah.
sure, and some surprises. But
It's
it was
been a
really
hell of a
cool.
day in our it's been a hell of a day in our community, really. I mean, so Legends, right, kicks off season two,
Oh
and
yeah.
they were both great games. No spoilers, but Rube Waddell, Jimmy Fox, baby, yeah. That, and then Dwayne Martz, our streaming demon, and then what a way to cap off the night. This is 13. It was 13 days ago was opening day for Shanks 3. 13 days, and here we are. We're
Really?
ready to like. Yeah,
We
I
did it in two
checked.
weeks. That's
I
awesome.
looked I looked in the Discord, and Shank's opening day was 13 days ago on the Discord. When I checked it,
Oh, that's
it would
great.
be Friday. Yeah, so but I just just want to say that it's so gratifying to just see the community come together and just being really cool with it and loving it. I mean, because let's face it, our significant others, they don't get what we're doing, and we got,
That's an
and you know
understatement.
what? Shout out to Steve's wife because come on, the baseball geek squad. That's you guys know that's how the Shanks the Shanks Discord got its name. So
Well,
thank you,
she's out
Mrs.
of town
Steve.
this weekend, and then she'll be out of town
Okay.
the following weekend. So I'm going to get a lot of stuff done on some of these projects, and let's just put it that way. But yeah,
Awesome.
it is an understatement. No, she doesn't understand it.
Yeah.
Toleration to some degree comes into play, but no, it's fun. I enjoy it, and it's interesting now because I can see now it seems like I've got some projects going in a few different sports, and it's cool because it's like tonight, this week I've been working on football, and this time it's like, oh, I've got the Shanks broadcast,
Mhm.
so now I can kind of get my baseball hat on. We had some fun here tonight, and I know Todd B's always hitting me up on, hey, when are we gonna set up?
Basketball, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
basketball and do some
Well,
things like that.
here's the thing. So what's happening in this community, guys, is really unprecedented. I mean, yeah, you have Dave Gardner and Dave Juckett that partner in a channel. You have the two Earls. Those of us who have been around the community longer know that. But look what's happening in this community. You've got Steve working with Christopher and Legends, right? These three guys working together, collaborating on different projects. And even though, and I'm still going to use the F-ball term for me, you know what? Even though I don't like the sport, I'm going to tune into some of the things that you and Chris are doing just because I love the idea of, you two guys getting together, creating something amazing. How you and Legends are kind of cross pollinating as far as
Hmm.
between Action PC and MLB The Show and stuff like that. And I don't see that happening anywhere in the community. And I think you guys are right. The whole thing is trailblazing, and hopefully, maybe guys again from the other channels. It's like, look,
Yeah.
we all benefit from this. So, our Red Sox fan, if you catch us on the flip side, man, get involved.
Yep.
We'd love to. You bring a lot of interesting things to it. Sports Time Machine, you guys, everybody that's out there. You don't have to be. I mean, Al's not. About shy about being on the mic, but even if you're not, even if you are, what's happening here? Watching you guys collaborate, it's exciting times coming up. No matter what sport you love, and
Yeah.
I don't want to. I don't want to monopolize, so I'm going to jump off. But just thank you guys. I really didn't play any part in this time, but just
Well,
love
yeah,
to
you
see
did.
the
We drug you in, and you need to stay in because you got drug in, and you ended up going above 500. You had a
2 games
competitive
above
team.
500.
You had a
Yeah,
competitive team with these franchises, and you
I
got
know,
two.
right?
You got the Brewers and the Diamondbacks. I mean, come on,
Oh
and you
my
finished
God.
above 500. Come on, and you know
Yeah,
what's
yeah,
funny is
yeah.
you were going with. You know what's funny is it's like almost you had no interest to be like a homer. You know what I mean? To try to pick players you like and whatever, and you just
No,
drafted off your gut
yeah,
and looking at players,
yeah.
and you drafted a above 500 team. It's
You
pretty
know, the
cool.
thing I don't get though, it is cool, but you know what? Randy Johnson sucked, and I remember saying through the whole draft, I'm like, man, yeah, I got Randy Johnson. I think he was 4-12 or something for me. It's like, you're
Oh
done,
my
dude.
gosh,
So yeah,
that's
now watch
crazy.
somebody else will get him, and he's going to be like 20-2. But here's my thing. I don't know if MV's still awake. I hope not. So
Oh, he
here's the
is.
thing. Oh shit. Well then, never mind. I said we should come up with a special rule for MV to celebrate both his McGreevy victory and Shanks. Don't you think, guys? Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Say no more. Say no more. Anyhow, I don't want to monopolize. Steve, thanks for having me on
Hey,
for a few minutes.
would he have like the title of it?
Oh, he's
Would it
here.
be the Shagreevy Award,
The McGreevy
or the
Award.
McShanks? Is it a McShanks or a
I
Shagreevy?
think
I
you got
don't
to
know.
put that out. You got to put that out in the community and see.
You know what's
Do a
fun that
little
you bring
poll and
about,
see.
and I do enjoy work like with Legends is helping getting his sheets in order to help me if I start to put my 5-year franchises into like MLB The Show. So he's
Oh my
getting
God.
some of his stuff in order. But you mentioned cross collaboration, cross pollination, or whatever.
Yes.
It depends on
Yes.
who you're working with. If I'm working with MV on a project, it's cross contamination. If I'm
Oh yeah.
working with these
Cross
other
contamination.
guys, it's cross. It's collaboration, it's cross pollination.
I, I,
It
I I
depends.
totally agree with that. Anyhow, man, it's been great. And to another shout out we got to give Dwayne Martz. Dwayne
Oh,
Martz,
Dwayne
right,
stepped up with broadcasting.
just stepped up with broadcasting. How about it? Just Dwayne, wow, awesome, man. Just great, great job, and love following what
Hey,
you
Arnold,
do. But
welcome, Arnold. Look, Arnold's coming in at the end of this. We're just here chin wagging tonight, Arnold. I may stay on a bit if anybody wants to just chat about projects or whatever. I may hang on because again, I'm unchaperoned tonight. Don't let anybody know that, and got some free time. But thanks, Beatles.
all
I
right,
appreciate you coming on. And
you bet.
again, it's a good thing about one thing I want to say is again, like MV talked about you rubbing off on him and me finding your channel and all this. Slovak has got me into a project that rubbed off on me. There's nothing that appeals to
Huh?
me about a state approach. The Dave Koch baseball thing that goes by states that has no appeal
Right.
to me, never has, right? Let alone
Okay.
football.
Yeah. Uh huh.
And he's got me
And yeah.
pumped up working on this, and I didn't even
Yep.
want to do it. So that's how he
See
converted
that?
me. So that's how we rub off on each other.
It's awesome. Love this community, and let's just keep it rocking. I'll go ahead and drop. I'm still gonna be in the chat. But I'm gonna drop out of the call, man.
Have
And
fun.
this has been awesome. Again, thanks especially to you and Big Clue. Again, can't thank you guys enough. For everything you've done. So yay!
You got it. Thanks,
And
Beatles.
yeah. All right, man. Take care.
All right. So appreciate Beatles coming on, and appreciate you're here, Arnold. We're just hanging out. We finished our postseason for that, and definitely want to extend invitations to those of you that haven't been in the Shanks League. Arnold, you're one of those, and any of the others here. Hey, hop on in. It's been a blast. We're probably going to give it a couple weeks and figure out who might be interested in version 4, and it's going to be fun because everybody's got 2 franchises only, and you can only protect one. You can let both go as well, and there's going to be some great franchises out there to draw from. And I know Todd asked a question, and the answer is no. Ain't doing that. I thought about it, that it might be fun, but then again I thought, oh, I don't want that responsibility. And then I thought, will it make sense, because we may not, it's not like everybody will be consecutively carried over, so we'll have some hit and miss. So the thought did cross my mind, but I have so much other stuff going on. I said, no, I don't want that headache of trying to compile and like consecutively keep like historical um, stats going, because I saw that you posted that one. But yeah, Dwayne, really appreciate Dwayne stepping in and doing the broadcasting. And you've seen people in the community now, like Bernie broadcasting now in the last few months, starting to do stuff on there. So I would encourage anybody that's on the fence about that, hey, hop on and do it. Did your manager file make a difference in the playoffs? Well, yeah, it did, because you made it past, who was it? Hagerstown. You took care of Dwayne's Hagerstown team very handily, and but Manchester, I mean, they were just, you gave them a good run, but Manchester was just tough. And then the other side, I mean, Canada was down to Cleveland, lost the first game, so Cleveland just needed to win one more. Canada rips 2 games off in a row there, and then goes on a tear, and I think they end up winning 8 games in a row straight. Then they sweep Kentucky 4, go in and win the first 2 games against Manchester at Manchester, and then Manchester has to go to Ontario, to Sarnia, and win 3 on the road to go up. Was crazy. And I got to say, Canada put a little personal touch on their file, and I think that's what led to the run. Because I could see things happening in the game where, like, a starter was getting pulled after like 3 innings, almost like he was doing a, what do they call that approach? It's escaping me now. The newfangled starter or whatever, what do they call that? Spot starter? What? Not a spot starter, but you know what I mean, like a designated go your 3 innings and then step aside. So you could see the manager files in play. Yeah, opener, closer. And then you saw Manchester, MV, really watching his tinkering unfold during the games. And he came on for a post game, if anybody just joined us, a post game for his World Series championship here. But these are all the postseason stats right here. You can see who stands out. Lajoie for Hagerstown in the 2 games they played, but you got to look at what Manchester did here with the OPS. Look at Mel Ott. Mel Ott right here tore it up. And Buster Posey in his few games, let's go by average here. You go by at bats, but um, Bonds with power, right? Didn't get a home run, oddly enough. Johnny Mize hit a home run. Babe Herman and this guy, Dave Mancroft, and Mel Ott in the postseason. I mean, look at this postseason batting. They tore it up. I agree. The next Shanks will be harder. And what'll be harder is as we expand and grow from the 14 teams we have now to hopefully 18, 20 or more with the people interested, it'll be fun. So what the heck's everybody got out there going on that anybody wants to talk about? C, Q&A? What do we want to call this? Chin wag? Anybody else want to pop on a Discord chat? Be happy to bring you on if you want to discuss anything. Hats off to Manchester. MV spent a lot of work. I know this. I know how he operates, getting his team set up to perform, because he knows this team wasn't this good right out of the box, right after the draft. So I know he takes great pride in figuring out how to use his personnel the way he did. And I am interested. I'm going to take a look at Jackie Robinson. What has he got going on with him? Limit versus right. You know, he's limiting, so he limited him so much, interestingly enough, that he'd get pitched in for in the first inning. He did not feel as confident, even though he had, I think, even though MV had 2 great franchises, I think he was really, if we think about it, he had the Dodgers and never got Koufax. Koufax was not in this league. Crazy how this, so any of you that are new to this idea, the fun thing about this league is you get to draft 2 franchises, and then, and big thanks to Clue for doing a lot of the hard work behind the scenes to get this mapped out. But then during each round, everybody is given a random year for their franchises. So for example, I had Baltimore, or I'm sorry, I had the Angels and the Tigers. So if I got 1933, I could only draft from Tigers from the 1933 season. But if I got one, post 1960 one, I could then go in there and draft from the Angels or the Tigers. So that's how we approached it. Great strategy involved in that. Yeah, Bernard, or it says, can we drop players from the franchise we keep? You bet. Meaning, and here's the thing, Bernard, if you choose to keep, for example, the Red Sox, then you release the other one. And if you choose to keep the Red Sox, you can then choose to keep up to 5 of the Red Sox players. However, let's go pull up Ernie's team right here, Las Vegas Gamblers. So let's say you keep the Red Sox. You've got Ted Williams, Jimmy Fox, Reggie Smith, and so on. To keep a player, you can only keep 5 from the franchise you keep, but if you keep them, it's the next year. So if you said, hey, I want to keep Ted Williams, remember, this is Ted Williams 54, you would get Ted Williams 55. So that's what's even more fun when it comes to the strategy and research. Reggie Smith, you need to start researching what 1972 looks like and whether he would be worth keeping. And it could determine, based on what players you could keep in their following years, could determine which one of your 2 franchises you keep. Yeah, MB, nobody likes Cy Young in these draft leagues. I don't know why. He never plays well, but small sample size. So let's take a look here. Cy Young. So you've got him in 1904. So Bernie, if you keep them Red Sox, you'd have to look at 1905 to figure out if he'd be one of your 5 keepers. Now, there is no requirement to keep a franchise, one of your 2. You could choose to let them both go. And I think some people may do that and just go from the beginning again. And there's no requirement that if you keep the Red Sox that you have to even keep 5 players or any. You could choose to keep none, or you could choose to keep 1 or 3 or 2. You just can't keep more than 5. So if I look at MVs, let's take a look at I'm going to take a look at my team here, who, we were a 500 club at best. And trust me, I could have put a little bit more work into my lineup and I played around, but I still don't think I had the ability with the team I had to get close to winning the division. I just didn't feel that. So if we look at my team, a lot of Tigers here, right? If I keep a franchise, I'll probably keep the Tigers, but I mean, Ty Cobb, I got him in 1911. Probably keeping him in 12 is a good thing, right? Harry Heilman. I got Al Kaline. Let's see what I got with Kaline here. Where the heck is Kaline? How about I just go this way? I got Kaline in 56, so it would be 1957. So yeah, I mean, I've got some decisions to make too, right? No doubt I'll keep my Tigers and I'll let the Angels go. But I had some good players from the Angels on my team. I had Rod Carew and Mike Trout. So that'll be a franchise that's available for someone to pick up. But yeah, who do I keep? I don't know. I'm gonna have to really look at, is there somebody their following years worth keeping, or am I better off just leaving that slot open and going? Because what'll happen, I think, Clue will have to talk about that. I think once that happens, however many people you keep, you just end. So if we have, what is it, a normal 30 round draft and you keep 5, you're only going to go 25 deep and then you're done. Midlife, let's pull him up. I'll show you. This is who he has. Well, it's probably the easiest way to do it. If I pull it this way, you can see the year. This bio tab is great for that. You can take a look at his players in the year he has. So he's got Mel Ott in 34. He has Bonds in 97. So he'd be stuck with 98 Bonds. So it's a really cool approach to the league. And I would say if anybody's interested, let us know. Put it in the chat. Ping us on Discord. I know Beatles will be talking about it on his broadcast in the next couple of weeks, but would like to take some time and really figure out who's in for the next one. And then we can pick a good date to do the draft. I think last time we did one night, 2 nights, and got it completely done. If I remember right, it was like 3 hours one night and 2 hours a second night, and we were completely done with the draft. MV and everybody else, let me know if that's how you remember it. But it, um, Clue gets the charts put together, and he's got them so that when we drew random numbers for the draw, and it matched up with the list, and then away we went getting our random years. So it was a blast. And each time we do this, I get a little bit closer to getting my all-time, the photos for my all-time baseball league done, which is always good because that's the project I have now. Is it's probably the one not farthest along because for baseball, I'm having fun in the Shanks League. In basketball, I haven't touched that in a while, but I know Arnold on here has done some play testing for me, and I'm doing an all-time greats approach where I take like the best 3 years of a player's career, and they don't have to be consecutive, and then I'm carding them for that. And now I'm taking that approach for Chris Slovik's project. And what's interesting about Slovik's football project on the state level is I could have made it easier for me and just imported or built players off their best single season. But I'm like, I don't like that. It's too easy and it's too much of an outlier possibility for the season. So what I did is I said, okay, if I'm going to make these teams for you, I'm going to have to do them from scratch, meaning I'm going to take their best 3 years and combine a card for them that way. So it's taking me more time. But when I'm done, he's going to have his states file for his project, and I'll have a lion's share of all-time greats done for my all-time greats project for football. So it's going to be like killing two birds with one stone. So that'll be fun. Bernard says it. He's talking about modern pitchers having an edge along with defensive players. It'd be interesting to run a league that might be 1900 to 60. You know what's interesting is seeing how they did relative to their ERA plus. So if I look, let's go back to this one. If we look at the Shanks file right here, we have let's take a look at your team right here. Let's go to pitchers. Let's take a look at some of the early century folks. Elmer Steele, 1908 pitcher. So his real ERA plus is 128, and he was 103. 100 is average. Okay. Cy Young, way underperformed. He should have been a little above average pitcher. Way underperformed. Babe Ruth, underperformed his number. Deneen, underperformed. Breachin, well, and we'd expect him to underperform that single season because of the quality of the league. Shore, Bruce Sutter underperform. Everybody's going to be an underperformer, but it's like, do we see a trend where the earlier pitchers, here's Smokey Joe Wood, Tom Brewer never got any action. Wow, look at the ERA plus that Helsley had. There's a modern day player. Look at this that had a 7.42 WHIP and a 3.20 ERA plus that underperformed. Take a look at Manchester. Marichal 171 hit 134. Sutton, Drysdale, horrible. Whit Wyatt. Now here's one. Here's a 43 player that almost hit his number. Marquard, way underperformed his ERA plus. Might be interesting to see if there's anything to see out of here as far as era, because the ERA plus is a really good indicator. Take a look at Kentucky. They had some early pitchers. So here's Noodles Hahn. He's 157 and a 120, pretty good. 132 out of 1923. Pedro. Wow, look at Rob Murphy. I didn't realize Rob Murphy was that tough. But Yeah, his ERA 0.72. Maybe I ought to take a look at WHIP as another indicator. But anyway, interesting to see. Don't know if the data backs up what the eyes see, but definitely on appearance, people that have had Cy Young aren't happy with him on the team. So yeah, I am piling up projects, and I at least I finish some, and I get some to a state where they get bigger. But I wouldn't say my 5-year franchises are done, but I've got like 100 teams of each, so at least I made progress. The football one has been um, surprisingly interesting to me. I did not think I was going to like this approach of the state you're born in. And Slovak kept telling me about it. I'm like, I don't know about this, dude. I was thinking about taking my 5-year football franchises and building those into pro strategy football, and then I was thinking about taking my 5-year baseball and building them in when Legends helps me with the formulas he's got, building that into MLB The Show, just to see how those 5-year franchises would play out there. Because I'm interested in learning how to build in some of those games. But man, the last week or so, I've been kind of obsessed with any free time I have cranking out these teams. And man, let me fire it up. If you're a baseball fan only, then you're going to probably hate this. But let me fire this up and show you what I've got done so far. I've got Michigan, Ohio done, and I started Pennsylvania, and I'm getting the pictures in. So if we take a look at born in Michigan team, here's the quarterbacks: Craig Morton, Earl Morrall, and Gary Danielson. Sorry, that's what you got to go with, right? Running backs: Jerome Bettis is there. James Brooks, a little bit better. So I have 2 teams completely done, built, fully rated, double checked, photos done, only about 29 and a half more to go. Um, so having a blast with this one. Um, Offensive line, and I've got deep rosters because the way I look at this is I'll figure out he's going to figure out which 53 to make active, but I thought, I'm going to make this shareable for the community. And you hey, you may want to figure out which 53 you have active, right? And have some options. So I've tried to keep in players that had decent 3-year runs or were born in that state without building a roster with 70 or 80 people. That's just too much, right? Here's a linebacking core for plenty of linebackers here, plenty of DB, and I'm also making sure that I have returns covered, meaning we have people with enough kick return and punt return ability there. Oh yeah, Texas should be good. I can show you the raw data for them. So here's my Michigan team. I did Ohio because I gotta have an Ohio team to match him up against as well. And I'm like, where are where aren't the player photos? There you go. I've got photos done for this team, but you can see a little bit better at quarterback for Ohio. But who do you start, right? You can't have 2 starting quarterbacks. We got Roethlisberger, Russell Wilson, Staubach, and Len Dawson. Hey, legends, how are you? Glad you could hop back on. Um, Running backs for the Ohio. I'm just going through. I've got 2 teams fully done, and I've started on Pennsylvania. And some of these teams, it's like, yeah, I've got deep running backs, but I can only have maybe 1 or 2 out there. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out, especially the way Christopher Slovic's going to do the pool play and so on. What's going on with? I don't know if it's just me. I had a conversation with somebody today. Oh, I got it over. Um, I don't know if there's any more obnoxious person for me to listen to on a broadcast than Chris Collinsworth. I'll throw that out there tonight. Happy to see my Lions actually act like a team they've never been and win last night. But every year I'm like, how is it Collinsworth like still broadcasting? Why? Um, but here he is on the Ohio team. Good offensive lineman. And again, it's taken me time because I'm not importing, although I own every season Action has pretty much, I think. It, it would have been too easy to import and just say, okay, here's their best season and use it. I'm like, this does me no good. Now, by taking their best three, it's taking me longer. But now I'm going to have Chris's project done, but I'm going to have almost completely done all time greats based on 3 years file that I can use. So that's fun for me anyway. Defensive lineman here for Alan Page, a great one right here. Linebackers, you got Jack Lambert out of Ohio. In the backfield, you got Charles Woodson. So this will be a fun team. Oh, yeah. So Legends is talking about he's got something for Madden. He just knows it's a ton of work. Yeah, you bet. And yeah, that was a great win for the Lions. That's not the same old Lions. There's a different attitude there that's for real. So here's those teams. Now I've just started Pennsylvania, and I got the quarterbacks put in there. I don't know if I've got. Do I have? No, I haven't brought the photos in, but I have them done over here for this one. But look how deep this team is with people that can play quarterback. Now, I could have said, hey, let me just pick the top three, but why? Because I know some of you in the community will enjoy this file later, and why not have the big names? And then you can figure out if you want to use this file, um, who you would start or who would be your two or three you'd make active for that week. I can tell you, I have the league defaulted like I'm running it in 1995, but each of these players, if we take a look at Matt Ryan here, if we look at their ratings, you see Ryan and Montana. But here's what's interesting. We go to ratings, look over here at the ERA plus. So let's look at him respective to era. And what I look at for quarterbacks in football are the ratings when it comes to completion percentage is a great indicator, right? And he's a 109, which means he's 9% above average based on his era. Now we go look at Marino. Marino's 112. So Marino, the way he's carded, even though it shows him a lower passer rating, is actually better when you start looking at the era they came from and the years being used. Kelly, 108. Namath, 99. Not a surprise. He wasn't a completion percentage guy. He was a bomb guy. George Blanda, 98%. But look at Montana, 121. So this gives you a good way to kind of compare apples to apples in a sense where you're taking the era into approach. The other thing you might look at is how well they are at avoiding interceptions. We look at Namath. Um, Kelly's kind of average. He wasn't great for his era. Ryan 123. So this will give you, this is a good box to go to take a look at who might start. So if I hit, let me hit depth and do computer depth. Who do they think? Let's see. Wow, interesting. They put Johnny Unitas in there at depth one. Of course, I don't think I've got a full team run on there. Well, yeah, I'm tricking the game up. It's they don't have full rosters to do their business, but it'd be interesting to see who they default and go to on here. So more players to come on that. Oh yeah, Unitas is there. He's there. And here's his card for Unitas. And I'm already seeing. So yeah, there's a card when I come in and edit them. This is where I go. I go right here and take the 3 years I'm using and the averages and all that good stuff and put in their line. Do their audible rating. Over here is my spreadsheet I'm working off of. This is the So off here, I'll end up computing the averages for myself, and I'll drop them in here. I can zoom this up if anybody's interested in looking at this junk. Maybe a few of you are. But here's the Pennsylvania team right here. Their raw stats that I need to put into the game. I'll go back and do their blocking ratings. I will use the game's default for some of the ratings, like breakaway and short yardage and that, because that's based off of the stats that it sees using its own algorithms. But I've gone back and put in my blocking ratings because I've got a lot of previous research from some of the files I've done on that, and I'm looking at a couple other sources. I even go in and look at a lot of the second and 10 ratings, which I think second and 10 ratings are done very well as well. I'll look at some of the seasons I have for action to see where they've got them rated, and I've got to come up with that overall rating based on these 3 years. So this is the O-line ratings for preliminary. These will be the ones I'll build in there. Then I'll take a look at some of the other sources to see if I move them up or down anyway. Defensive line, the same thing. We're putting in the raw stats if they average out with interceptions. The sack totals are right from Football Reference. And then I'm coming over here with the run, pass defense, and rush ratings. And anybody that, if you ever build an action, you can pretty much look at their rush rating is half of their sack total. So, and that'll give them their overall defensive rating. So in this case, Jason Taylor's an 8 on the run out of 10. And you can rate people in action above 10, where in baseball you don't have the ability to. They'll let you have that outlier where like a Lawrence Taylor season that he would have would be like an 11 versus a normal 10. So football allows that, which is really interesting. Um, and this doesn't equal to 8 plus 8 is a 16 overall. It's like an 8, and they take so much of this rush factor and come up with an overall rating. You see Jack Ham stands out here on the linebacking core for Pennsylvania is a deep team. I mean, you've got interior, you've got Klecko and Aaron Donald and Randy White in defensive tackle positions. You got Jason Taylor on an end, and you've got a couple other folks here. Hartenstein with the Bears and Jim Cabbage back with the Giants. And then Lou Michaels, an interesting player here based on some Pittsburgh years, was a good defensive end and a kicker. Defense, people born in Pennsylvania, Herb Adderley there. Darrell Revis, Ty Law, Roland Lawrence, another kind of forgotten late 70s, early 80s player for the Falcons, if you're a football fan. So this is that team. Here's Illinois. That'll be the next one I build. Oh yeah, it's going to be great midlife. That's what I think is going to be fun. The other thing I've got to tell you that Slovic is planning. This adds another element of intrigue to this. Is he's going to turn on alternate reality, meaning you don't know whether the player is going to perform exactly as their stat line is, or they get a slight bump up or bump down, and it's hidden. So you won't. It adds a little bit of extra flair, and he's going to cover that Sunday when we chat. I'm going to do a broadcast Sunday at 9 a.m. Eastern with Slovic to talk about how he does that. Oh, yeah. If you're looking at can you purchase this on Action Store, you betcha. Let's go right here to into the Action Shop, and you'll see right here. And it's on sale right now. You can get the Football Season Deluxe is on sale. But if we go just to the football game, you can pick the Deluxe, the Basic, or this one, which actually isn't a bad deal here. You're getting close to hitting that $100 and get another $20 off. It is, you get all these football seasons that come with it and the great pro teams collection. So that's pretty intriguing if you wanted to bulk up on your stuff. And football seasons pro, let's take a look. They're probably on sale too. Football decades, are they on sale? Heck yeah, they are. $85 decades on sale for $54, which means you're paying $5.48 per season if you buy it decades. And if you buy two, it'll be $108, and then you'll get 20% off. So you could get 2 decades, 20 seasons for what is that? For 80 some dollars. So that's always a nice incentive. But yeah, everything seems to be on sale right now, including basketball. Baseball games on sale. Um, Basketball games on sale. See, we got decades for basketball. Basketball decade. Everything's on sale at Action. Drive safely, legends. Yep, as you're headed out. So, yeah, always great stuff going on. I've got a lot of the raw data in here for the rosters. Some of them I've identified the rosters. So you can see right here, I've got Illinois ready to go with the data. I stopped here at Jake Elliott and the punters. I've still got to move on and get some of the raw data there. I moved into Georgia. Got Herschel Walker on that team along with Jim Brown. There's a nice backfield. So you can see I've got a lot of the numbers crunched, ready to go. I stopped right here, I think, with Oklahoma and decided instead of crunching numbers, I was going to go back in here and start actually putting the builds into the game and getting the teams assembled. And then I thought, okay, let me not get too far along without doing photos. So for my photo, where am I at here? Let me pull up. Pennsylvania photos are ready to go. Now, I usually do multiple photos for players, but I'm like, I just don't have the time to do that to get this project on track. So I'm doing at least one photo. And my idea is to take the logo from the years I'm using and make a card template out of it. So here's Aaron Donald in a more, what I would say, modern look. This would be Pennsylvania's team. Andre Reed, Bill George. He's probably hate if he saw this picture I've got of him, but it was a nice color one. Billy White Shoes Johnson. Bob Tucker, Brandon Marshall. So yeah, I'm having fun creating the cards. So I've got all the cards done for the teams that I'm building so far. So I'm keeping good pace there. It just adds a lot to the game for me when I'm playing it. Um, Chuck Muncie. I had MV come on chatting a few days ago when we were going through the football project, and he was having a flashback and telling me how much at one point he was into football and how this was kind of piquing his interest, and he was remembering a lot of the players' names and things like that. There's Marino, Darrell Revis, Doug Buffon. Wow, it takes a better part of a day right now because when I go to create these, let me pull this up. I'm using Snagit, that's what I use, but I have to have a template. So if you think about it, to drop my template and to make sure it's specific, I've had to set up a lot of my templates, and I'll get the raw pictures, and then I'll go with my card templates and have to figure out, like, here's a Colts that I could come in here and just change the name on. It's got this one. Some of the other templates I have down here are, where's an old Bills? So here's one for the old Bills with the old logo. So I've had to take the time to go grab the logos that I have, drag them in here and get the custom card set up, put the name on it. Once I get if I was doing a whole team, I just take this card and just change the name and go. But what happens with these teams that have players from all kinds of different things, it takes me a little bit of time because they all come from various. But now I'm starting to build a good template that I'm using here. Like here's a Dolphins one, post 80 with that logo, and then I have another one here, Dolphins 2013 with this logo to present, and then I have an older one with the old logo, 70s I think. So Dolphins 70s logo, little bit different helmet, slight difference there. My Lions have a similar. Where's my old Lions at? I hate this logo too, by the way. But Lions, 60s Lions with this logo. And then if they get into the 70s, so it's taken more time. But I thought, like, if I do an all-time greats, it'd be nice to have, you know, a card for them from the team that those years I'm using they played the most for, and having a logo that's kind of specific. So yeah, I'm doing that. Colts have some varying ones. Where's my Colts? So I've got a Chiefs from the 60s logo, and Okafor is not. He's kind of like, I don't know why his name's even there, but I think I've got Len Dawson and some other ones there. So yeah, it takes a little bit of time, but now that I have these as I go, I can say, okay, I got to do Charles Woodson. Okay, that's a new Packers logo, right? So I could come, well, I can come in here and add his name and do it. So I'm going to get a little bit faster, but yeah, it takes a lot of work because I got to go and hunt down the pictures, drop in a file, then get the templates and drop them on. So there's all my Pennsylvania players. Where's my? Here's the Ohio team. It's probably easier to show them if I go in this way. So yeah, here's the. Maybe I could bring up a little bit bigger here. This works, but yeah, here's some of the Eddie George on this team, Fred Biletnikoff, Fred Cox, so George Blanda. This is a deep team. I'm a little worried about my Michigan team with those with Danielson and Earl Morrall and that. There are some states that surprisingly have some real weak quarterbacks, but that's what makes it fun in this league, right? It's like in the real NFL. Sometimes you don't have the best quarterback in the league, so you're going to have to get it done another way. And when you look at these state teams, some of these states are deep, but you can't start 80 people. You got to pick which two you're going to put at running back or which three at wide receiver. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. Jim Kelly, Joe Klecko, Montana. So yeah, I'm having fun making the cards. Big deal to me. It's probably as much of a passion as when I create a project now. It's like, yeah, I've got to do the cards. I think I'm reliving being a kid and loving baseball and sports cards. 100%. I think I'm having fun doing that. So if you want to take a look at the rosters here, you can see Georgia. Looks like a great team. Herschel Walker and Jim Brown in there. At wide receiver, you got Megatron and Tyreek Hill. Demarius Thomas. Going to be some real fun teams. What else stands out? Here's Oklahoma. Now, Oklahoma, not the best quarterback situation here, right? Not the best running back situation. I mean, Steve Owens was kind of a fizzle out with the Lions, but you got Steve Largent, Wes Welker, some possession receivers here. So it'll be interesting to see how this team plays out here with that quarterback depth. But they've got some better players when you get down to linemen and defensive line. Oklahoma's not actually looking all that scary to me. Here's Indiana with Cutler, Jeff George, and Bob Greasy. No hard data yet for him, but I did a lot of work getting from Football Reference, pivoting out some Excel sheets and being able to figure out who I was going to start with on the rosters, and then slowly kind of get the information built. Let me know. Type it in chat if there's any state you'd like to see. A few of them, like New England, I had to combine states. I think Oklahoma, no, not Oklahoma, Nebraska and Kansas are a combined one just because they didn't have that large of a pool. But put it in chat if there's any team you'd like me to highlight and let you take a look at the rosters. Here's Wisconsin. I'm going to bump this up so it's easier on the for everybody to read the names here. Crazy Legs Hirsch out of Wisconsin. If you look at that wide receiver core, there are a lot of old timers right there. Let's go to Texas, Minnesota. Texas and California by far have over 2,500 plus eligible NFL players, by far the biggest pools. What's interesting right here with these two teams is New York and New Jersey. Both have some interesting teams right here. That's going to be fun. I didn't even know Jim McMahon was born in New Jersey, but check that out. Let's see. Texas. Where are we at? Texas. Mississippi's got their own. Virginia. Maryland is a combo of DC and Delaware for the pool. I for some reason I got Chuck Foreman hitting me up on Facebook trying to invite me to all of his signings. Looks like he's out trying to make some retirement money. I hated the Vikings as a kid, but I always had respect for Tarkenton and Chuck Foreman. Let's see what else we got. I'm making my North Carolina. Let's take a look at the atrocious options at South Carolina. There's only 2 quarterbacks ever that played in the NFL that were born in South Carolina. Tyler Thigpen and Mason Rudolph. God bless this team. I don't think they're going to be passing a lot, but you got Stephen Davis and Meggett, and we'll see. Not everybody can be a division winner. Louisiana, they'll be tough. Let me get to Texas, Tennessee. There we go, Texas. Looking pretty good. And I'll show you California as a comparison, Texas Ags, because they are the ones with those plus 2,500 player pools that are loaded. Drew Brees, Mahomes, Y.A. Tittle. So you talk about, look, I added Grodin just for shits and giggles, but I don't know how he'll get playing time on this team. But you got 2 classic quarterbacks in Lane and Tittle, and you've got 2 modern era guys that can that are tough in Brees and Mahomes. So that's a deep staff right there. Let's look at running backs. We got Tomlinson, we got Thurman Thomas, as somebody said, so he can turn the ball over. Eric Dickerson and Adrian Peterson, just there with the top 4. I don't even know. Well, let me bring this up. You got these great top 4, and then we got Earl Campbell down here, and Jamal Charles. So that's a tough team. Wide receivers, a couple old timers there with Maynard and Allworth. Charlie Taylor, another classic. Cliff Branch. So you got Tim Brown, but really this is, well, you got Mike Evans there and Emmanuel Sanders, Des Bryant. But this is really loaded with what I call 60s and 70s players right there. Really good. Tight ends. The cool thing is every state so far has had enough to put 3 tight ends out there. And again, just so you know, I'm taking a player's best 3 years and averaging them. So if they don't have 3 years, they're SOL on this league. Now, some kickers and punters. Offensive lineman, there's Gene Upshaw. Winston Hill, good at tackle. Michael Strahan coming out. Now look at this. Bob Lilly, Michael Strahan, and Mean Joe Green. And John Randall and Jared Allen. I'm like, okay. Henry Thomas, Harvey Martin, Bubba Smith. This is a deep team right here. Real deep. Now, linebackers. Let's look at the defense behind the line. Singletary. Mike Haynes and Darrell Green. Yep. Jimmy Johnson. I don't know if anybody even remember him with the 49ers. He's going to have some. I haven't done the math yet on it, but he'll have some good years in there. Now let's compare Texas in that depth to California in those quarterbacks. Steve O'Neill is a punter. Let's check him out. Let's go see where he would be. Let's go right here. Where's my tab? Oh, guaranteed. If I look at his yards per punt and his AV right here, and I'll show you a little bit if anybody's interested how I've kind of figured out who the cream of the crop is. This approximate value, yeah, he had a 98-yard punt, but this ain't going to fly right here. This yards per punt and off the net too. Even era specific, that won't fly. So here's how we came up with the teams. You go hit on a state, and I went through here, and Texas is big, merged all of these files. And what I've used is there's a great stat here called the weighted average, meaning it takes their approximate value and it weights it out. So we can see right here out of Texas, this would be your rating. You could see overall games played, but this is a great way to kind of measure who the cream of the crop are from that state overall, right? So what I did is I put it out. Let me open one of these up. Take a look at South Carolina right here, or Florida. I got one open. So this would be Florida's file. So I can come up here and pivot it by position and say, okay, quarterbacks in Florida, what am I looking at? If I could find QB, oh, there it is. Bam, there's all the quarterbacks in there. And then I can come up here and you'll notice this weighted average or the weighted approximate value. I've got that selected so you can see here they are right off the top. This has everybody down here, but I'm like, I think I went with the top three on this one because I'm like, yeah, when you see the drop off on the value, they're probably, Lamar Jackson's got this much value with only 4 years. Yeah, Jeff Blake's not getting any playing time, or Brian Greasy or Bridgewater when you've got these three. So, if I'm making an all-time greats league and want to cover everybody, I'm going to have to come back at some point in history here and add some of these more relevant players. But for this project, there's no reason going deeper than these three. However, for Pennsylvania, there's such great quarterbacks, it's almost like we need to put them on there to give the option. Todd B, I will be combining. Let me pull that one up so you can see. These are the mystery ones right now. So, do I go international? I have already combined Kansas and Nebraska, and I have Washington and Oregon together. New England is together with New Hampshire, Rhode Island, Vermont, and then I have DC, Delaware, and Maryland together. I have to figure out, what do I do with the Dakotas? Do I take the Dakotas and include them with Minnesota? Do I take West Virginia here and merge it with Virginia, or do I merge it with Kentucky to kick Kentucky up a notch and make it more competitive because they do border each other? I then have a dilemma here with the four corner states with New Mexico, Utah, Colorado, Arizona. I've got to account for Nevada, and then we've got Montana and Idaho. So the goal, I think I'm going to end up with 32 teams. I have 29 as it sits, and I'm going to have to figure out how to carve 3 entities out of these remaining states based on the number of player pool. And really, you need something in the mid 200s and up to be able to field a halfway decent team and cover positions using 3 years. So I don't know how to equitably carve this up, right? I may take, do I take Colorado and Utah together and then take Arizona, Nevada, and New Mexico? Then what do I do with Idaho? Do I give Idaho off to Washington and Oregon, right? And then what do I do with Alaska and Hawaii? Who do I attach them with? Samoa. Do I have an international team? So I've got a little bit of work to do to figure out whether I get it right at 32 or there's 33 or 34 teams, but I have 29 that are decided either individually or with New England being one, Kansas, New England being, and Nebraska being one. So I do have some decisions to make there. But California, look, yet Allen Simpson, Ricky Williams on that team. James Lofton, another kind of forgotten player, great in the early 80s. Look at the tight ends, Tony Gonzalez and Winslow on the same team. Yeah, hey, I appreciate everybody hanging out. I mean, heck, we still got 9 people hanging out here, 10:26 Mountain Time, listening to me talk and look at a bunch of names on a spreadsheet. But this is a good team, California. But again, you can be deep, but you got to put 2 out, or 1 or 2 running backs out. You got to one of these, 3 of these people can't play at the same time, right? So you start Brady, Rogers, Fouts, Cunningham, Moon. I mean, pick your poison, right? What do you want to go with? What kind of an offense do you want to run? So that'll be fun. Offensive linemen, Anthony Munoz and Max Montoya, standout Zimmerman. Some really good players here. So if I look at Kentucky, well, here's Florida. They got a good team. Let me look at we get down here to Kentucky and some of these other ones. New England, I have not put the pool together yet. So I've still got to do New England, and the Washington and Oregon teams have to be put out. Arkansas, strangely enough, has a team, and there's their 4 quarterback options. I could split. Todd, I thought about things like, here's what I thought about with California and Texas. I don't know if I'm going to have the time to be able to do it and get a map out, but here's what I thought: East West Texas, North South California, North Cal, Southern Cal, East West Texas. But that would require me to actually look at the cities they were born in and manually go in there and start kind of parsing that out. Maybe I will. I'll see how much time I have before. Slovic's not running this until he wants to start in January with the broadcasting. So I've got some time. So in some ways, to your point, I might be able to split that up if I've got the time and I make kind of progress along this way, because there's nothing to say. Right now, he's thinking about doing pool play with 32 teams. Everybody plays each other, so there's 4 in a pool. Everybody plays the other 3 teams twice, once home and once away. Then the top 2 come out of that pool, and then he goes into like an elimination bracket. But I could do what you're saying. I could take and split up even PA, right? Because let's go to let's take a look. You can see the numbers. California, 2,608. Texas, 2,631. They're almost equivalent. That's huge, right? Ohio, 1,500. PA, 1,500. Oddly enough, Ohio had more than Pennsylvania. I thought Pennsylvania was going to be higher. So those could be split up. So, but definitely, I'm okay with this. But if we split these up, that gets them down to about 1,300-ish, which gets them closer in line to Ohio and them. We could see more players in action that way. Florida, you could look at a north, south, and a Florida to maybe carve out and get more players. That's a great idea and something I may end up doing. And so we could end up with closer to, say, 40 teams. I could also split by birth date. Yeah, we could go into eras, right? Like we could do that. But yeah, a lot of possibilities. I didn't want to touch this project with a 10-foot pole, man. I got to be honest. I have never been interested in the Action PC baseball one that has it broken down by state, because it's just not meant anything to me. And I don't know if it's Slovak, his persuasion, or whatever, but he got me thinking. He was on me like, no, we got to do this. This is what I want. And I'm like, hey, how about I take my 5-year franchise files and you were on a project with that? And he kept coming back with this. And then finally, once I started researching it, I really got into it. And I'm like, it is interesting because, like anything, it's not really about equitable balance, right? It's like anything in the league, you have teams that are just undermanned, right? They don't have a premier quarterback or whatever. So it will be interesting to see one of these teams that isn't deep. Let's pull one of these up. Here's Kentucky. Okay. Now, I think I'm going to take West Virginia and merge it in because Virginia has a pretty strong team already. Kentucky only had 200 and some players, so they could use some help. But you got Phil Simms, okay? You got Sean Alexander and Paul Hornig, so it's not like you're going to field people that can't play football. Okay, we get down here and maybe we don't have what we would consider Hall of Fame talent, but you still got some people that can play. You got a good kicker. You got Jacoby, Dermontti Dawson, Irv Good, Bubba Parrish. You're going to have some standout linemen on the O line, right? You got here's Jim Marshall and Coy Bacon. Although Jim Marshall really is overrated. He doesn't really isn't a standout season guy. He's more of a good guy that played a long career. Jim Marshall really it doesn't have any great impact seasons. Yeah, Hatfield and McCoy's good idea. So maybe I'll carve that up in a different way, or see if West Virginia can hold their own with the 161 that they do have. Got Champ Bailey and Chris Dishman and Minifield in the secondary. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with some of these teams. Now here's the Kansas Nebraska team. I wouldn't mind a backfield where you've got Barry Sanders and Gale Sayers. Wide receivers, not really anybody that's premier. But then again, if you've got that wide receiver corps and you got these running backs, maybe you're a running team, right? Um, Kicker, punter, offensive line. Yeah, so it's interesting right here. And you know what's oh I haven't done. You know what I ought to do? If anybody wants to watch me, hey, we got 11 people hanging out. This is crazy. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go and get my let me go in here and grab that team I'm looking for. Let me see if I've got Massachusetts done yet. If I can start on, I don't. So here's what I do. Here's what I'll do. All right, so let's start with Massachusetts, and this is just what I do. I don't care about this field right here. Let's save it as New England Excel workbook. I want to put it in my states here. Oh, it already exists? Ah, what the heck? I didn't even know I had it. Maybe I've got it done already. Oh, I've got them already in. I just haven't built the team. Awesome. So I brought all the people in with all the New England states. So we got 700 to choose from. And let's drop a filter on this baby and see what we got at quarterback. So you can watch me get the rosters, how I go through the selection. So let's hit quarterback here. Let's see what we got, and then I'll sort it on the average. And here oh my gosh, John Kankanen for the Bears. Oh, Joe Reed, singing, guitar playing Joe Reed for the 49ers and the Tigers, or I mean the Lions. Here we go. So from New England, Hasselbeck, Landry, and Kankanen are going to be the ones that really stand out here. So is this, let's go back to New England, drop them in here. There we go. So there we go. We got our 3 quarterbacks there. Now let's go get some running backs. And it's because they call them different things, backs, blocking backs, half backs, wing backs, tail backs, running backs, sometimes fullback. Yep, fullback. Look at all of them. It's approximate value then. See what we got. Floyd Little. Boy, New England's not looking very good. Oh, we get Brian Piccolo in the mix. All right, here's what I think we do. We go down to Piccolo and then maybe grab Fran Lynch and Tommy Wilson. We'll see how that rolls. Well, New England's not looking as good as I thought they might be. Let's see if other positions look better. Because just like with a regular football team, sometimes you can be really weak in one area and all of a sudden you got some great players at another. Oh, Mark Van Egen's there. He's all right, but not too impressed with the running backs. So in labeling, these will be ends, flankers. We got any flankers? No. Wide receivers, any split ends? No. Let's see what we get. Weighted average. Oh, Joe Horn. Always remember him in fantasy football days. Wow, what an unimpressive bunch of players out of New England. What the heck? Wow. Let me make sure I'm not missing somebody back in the old days. Yeah. This is terrible. Well, we'll just see what works with these. It is what it is. Arnold played at the same high school that Floyd Little did, Connecticut Hill House High School. Good to know. I'm going to guess Arnold will like this file when it's done. I know he's a football fan too. Let's see, New England. We're going to go with tight ends. Is there anybody good out of New England at the tight end spot? Well, Milt Morin, Mark Bavaro, okay, Dan Ross, who was with the Bengals. We've got three. I think I'm going to grab these three and Mark Chmura just to see who. I'm going to grab Reed and Chmura too, and I will take a look at who I want to keep three out of those on that roster. All right, here we go. What else New England got? Now I've got. Let's go kicker. John Carney and Al Del Greco. There's a couple options. Oh, Hauschka, Rolf Benershka. Hey, we got some real. New England's got some kickers, so this gives me an option to figure out who's got the best data here. So I'll drop these in. Nice. How about punters? And then if you want anybody, I got 8 people hanging out here. This is crazy. What I may do here after I get this team assembled, I may fire up the game and just run a couple auto sims with different quarterbacks and see how the Michigan Ohio matchup. Do a little play testing on that. So we got Larry Swider. All right, there's two. At least there's a couple punter options. Let's go offensive lineman in New England. Anybody think of anybody that stands out? We're going to go with centers, guard, any long snappers. We want offensive linemen, and we want tackles. And let's approximate value them. All right. I usually grab at least 2 centers. They're there. One, two, three, 4 guards, and then I got to get some tackles. And the tackles are down here. Four guards: Masick, John Fitzgerald. Bring them in. That's a good starting point. You should try to make sure I have at least 3 to 4 guards, 3 to 4 tackles, 2 centers. And now we're going to go linemen, defensive lineman, defensive end, detective, defensive tackle, nose tackle could be another one that gets caught up in there. Approximate value. What do we have? We got, oh, Howie Long. There you go. So we got 2 nose tackles, defensive ends. Do we have any DTs? Maybe we'll make sure I got Chad Eaton and Steve Furness in here. And then I'll bring it down to right about here. That should give me good position coverage. Starting point. Now we'll go linebacker. Inside linebacker. MLB. Not a ton of linebackers out of New England. But Nick Buonacani's a good one. There's the cream of the crop. So yeah, you guys are seeing this is my process. This is what I've been doing, building the rosters out and then going and getting all the data done for them. Take a look at DBs now. Going cornerback DB. No free safety, safety, strong safety. Okay. And Eugene Robinson, good name from the past there. Daryl Pollard, Will Blackman. And now New England has a team to go research. So there they are. Not that impressive, however. I mean, there's some good names mixed in here at some of the positions, but not very impressive. Joe Horn has some good years in there. Bill Brooks, yeah, that was a guy with the Colts back in the day. Floyd Little and Van Egan. It looks like a kind of a fullback grinded out group here versus speed backs. And then, yeah, not great quarterbacks. So it'll be fun. That will be fun to deal with for sure. So one of the things that I have not done yet, maybe I'll just try it out here tonight, is if I go to Ohio, let me do computer depth, see what they put in here. Oh, they got Len Dawson. This is interesting. Let's take a look at what we got. So Roethlisberger on ratings is 109 on completion. Staubach 110, Dawson 110. It's going with Dawson over Staubach because he got a little bit better on the run. His interception percentage or his yards per completion, interesting. They're pretty close. We'll let it run with Len Dawson. I'm cool with that. Autofill lineups with it. Let's go and see what the computer wants to do with Michigan. Earl Morrall. Let's run a sim and see what the heck happens. Go Michigan at Ohio. We'll put a home field on for. You know what? Let's keep it on neutral field. I haven't. You see, I got the state flag for Michigan. I got to get the Ohio state flag in there. That's what I'm going to use for the state project for logos. I told Chris I'd get like the state flag in there or something, and he's going to put each team in the most prominent stadium from that state. It could be a pro stadium. It could be a college stadium. So we'll see how he ends up setting that up, but that'll be fun. see what it looks like here. I put that music in instead of the national anthem that plays by default. So I was messing around with some sound files, so I forgot I even had that on the startup, so I just let it play. Here is what they chose to put in here, which is very interesting. But James Brooks and Keith Lincoln, because they've got really good yards per carry up there, probably era adjusted too. Looks like they've got Robert Smith in there and Byers in as a second running back. So this ought to be fun. So I've got this on. Let me change this to. It's trying to do a computer versus computer game, but let's see what happens.
I formation. Dawson calls out the signals. Drops back to pass. Medium cross to Kels. Incomplete. Tackled by Banks. Welcome to Ohio Stadium. 2nd and 10 from the 8. Dawson calls the signals.
And I was playing with trying to get the computer versus
Smith
computer
with
and
the
narrator
handoff.
to work.
Andre on the stop at the 12. Third and 6 from the 12. Dawson fades back to pass. Dawson throws underneath to Byers. Complete. Logan on the stop. Zastudile to punt. Mason calls for a fair catch.
Yes, Texas Ags, you said exactly what I'm thinking. I like the photos being out here and all this.
Penalty on the play.
False start. Offense. Number 67, 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
So I've been playing around with the computer versus computer, like if you're going to call a game. So, I've never really done it where I've been playing with these kind of settings, right? I'll usually control one team or just let it auto play really quickly. But I do agree. It's like, it would be nice if they even got like some level of animation where like Pro Strategy Football has, or something that would be a little bit more interesting than just the squares. I agree. And I like that the narrator kind of has the flow of the play-by-play. I just hate this narrator. I just wish we could get a more like one of those neural voices or a more natural sounding voice in here. That would be a lot better, but we'll see.
Morale fades back to pass. Medium into Muhammad. Incomplete.
They got Hussein Muhammad playing, starting. Interesting. It's kind of interesting to see who they put in there.
2nd and 10 at the 34.
I think they got Jimmy Smith.
Morale drops back to pass. Throws to Lincoln's back shoulder. Complete. Tackled by Lambert.
And I've never really paid attention. It's kind of
3rd
cool
and 2
over
at
here,
the 42.
where the players that
From
were
the
involved in that play, they bring up information
Morale
on
gives
them
to Brooks.
in the photo.
Tackled by Jackson at the 44.
So I think with this game, to me, I like seeing that the pictures and stuff the photos come more
First
into
and
play.
10 from the 44.
And I would love to see the
I formation.
animation get improved.
Morale at the line. Sets to throw. Morale passes to Lincoln. Complete. Tackled by Browner at the 44. Morale fades back to pass. Long fly. Picked off by LeBeau at the 4.
Oh, we got a pickoff. Dick LeBeau.
First and 10 from the 37. Dawson sets up in the pocket. Medium cross. Caught by Kels at the 45. Whipped down by Kraus. Dawson with a short drop. Pass in the flat to Byers. He makes the catch. Tackled by Anderson at the 34. First and 10 from the 34.
Man, I'm trying to hit that pause button. And it's
The
like
hand
trying
off
to
to Smith.
catch a fly or something there.
Johnson brings him down at the 28. Second and 4 from the 28. Dawson drops back to pass. Medium fly. Caught by Smith. Prater M will try the point after. Prater with the kick. Touchback.
All right, now let me pause it. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to zoom a little bit. Let's go to the fourth quarter, 6 minutes left, see if we got anything interesting.
I formation. Morale fades back to pass. Medium slant to Muhammad. Page sacks him. Morale with a quick drop. Morale throws short to Brooks, incomplete. Third and 10 from the 20. Morale from the shotgun. He fades back to pass. Medium outside pass. Caught by Brooks at the 32. Tackled by Harrison at the 39. Lincoln with the handoff. Douglas on the stop at the 40.
Okay. Let me just put it on human, okay. And then let's go quick zoom. Okay.
Third and 9 from the 40.
What the heck?
Morale fades back to pass.
Not let me zoom to where I want.
Short
or I'm
curl.
hitting the wrong button here.
Complete. Tackled by Boak.
I guess I could always say game setup. Instant. Let's do it this way. Instant. Now finish.
No
the game.
timeout will be charged.
And there we go. And here's the end of the game. The first time I've tested this file out with two teams, and Ohio beats Michigan 40-21. Wow, what a passing attack here. Looks like a lot of passing here. Of course, we're playing 1995 style. Not much of a running game out of that Michigan team. Man, a little bit out of the own. Backfield passes, right? You got receiving Lincoln and Brooks out of the backfield with 13 of the catches. Morrill fumbled it. No fumbles over here with Dawson. Dawson had a great game. 4 touchdowns. See what happened. Anything exciting on defense with sacks? Got 1 sack for Alan Page. No sacks. Couple stuffs, couple hurries. 1 interception for Dave Witzel from the Bears, and 3 interceptions. Of course, you got Charles Woodson and Dick LeBeau in that backfield. Anyway, that's pretty cool. So now let's run another one. Computer instant. Michigan wins this one 31-25. So I love running these after I start setting these up to see if there's anything that stands out. Oh, Staubach got to start this one. What happened? Interesting. So Staubach starts this one, loses. Brooks and Lincoln they're still going with. Anthony Carter and Travis Kelce on the side there. Interesting. Pepper Johnson gets most tackles. Carl Banks is in there. Paul Krause, who played with Minnesota, 2 interceptions. Always kind of nice to see the variation of this. Let's go back to Ohio. We'll have the home field advantage on. Michigan wins this one. So seeing some games here. Jim Otis comes in here and gets some carries. Hussein Muhammad's getting the bulk of, he's the number 1 receiver, it seems like. Oh, look at Jack Lambert this game, 16 tackles. Anyway, fun stuff. I'm going to have to call it a night, but this has been fun just hanging out. Somebody's going to tune in and see the end of the Shanks 3 baseball morph into the football project spreadsheets and a couple test games and think, what the heck was this broadcast all about? But hey, what the heck? We'll let it be what it is. But I enjoyed everybody being here tonight and appreciate everybody that tuned in earlier for the Shanks 3 League, which MV is the winner of. But appreciate everybody hanging out with me here, Todd B. and Arnold and Texas Ags. It's been fun. I know Beatles signed off here a bit ago. Dwayne Martz was here chiming in on some thoughts about how we can split up some of these bigger teams. But now my job is, okay, let's start crunching the data and getting the teams built out. And I've got 2 done and I've started on the 3rd. So, by this weekend, I'd love to get Pennsylvania and Illinois done where I have 4 complete teams done and then start doing some more testing. So, that's an interesting thought, Dwayne. I don't know. I think Clue knows what number we get to where we don't have the double franchise. I can't remember what that is, but yeah, we could definitely get down to that where we might have to just go with 1 franchise for sure. But it's almost like if we get that, we might have to think about if we get enough people. Here's something to think about. Maybe we put this to a vote. At one point, the reason that he did that was that to try to get more people to get involved and to make it so that maybe you could draft a franchise and have familiarity with it. But we could go back to the one thought of, say we got 30 people involved. Everybody that round, all 30 people or 20 or whatever we have, they get handed two random factors. There's two random sheets. So each person that round gets handed a random team and a random year. So, for example, if it's round one, Dwayne, you might get 1972 and the Angels, and you have to go pick a player directly from the 72 Angels. That's what our original idea was. He kind of moved it into maybe the franchise drafting to allow people that might get more interested in the league and come in because maybe they're familiar with their franchise and things like that. But we could, if it gets big enough, go back to the original concept to make it challenging, which is you get a completely random franchise and year, and that's who you got to pick your player from. And I think that lends itself, if we can get more people in the community excited in that may be what we go with, because then what's really neat is you don't get the same caliber of real deep all-time great Hall of Fame teams. You get a lot of more spread out variety and talent, and really expands the league that way. So we could definitely throw that idea around. It just makes it more challenging, right? You're like, oh my God, I got 1933 Senators. Okay, well, man, I got to pick somebody from there. I got to figure out who I'm going to take, right? Do I? And what's cool with the draft is when you get into the later rounds, then you got to start worrying about positions, right? You're like, well, heck, do I hold out and hope I get a really good position year, or do I grab one now while I'm facing it? So, to me, that's what makes the draft like more than half of the fun of the league, is because of the strategy and some of the randomness with it. So definitely a cool idea. We can bring that back up to Clue, because you're bringing up a good point. We're going to hit it to where nobody could have two. And then if you have one, what fun is it if somebody's got the Yankees as their one franchise, and somebody else has the Rockies? You know, it's, I don't think that kind of really defeats the purpose. So maybe we just say, hey, let's go about, everybody's in, everybody starts fresh, and guess what? And you get a random year and a random team, and then we could look at subsequent years. You could protect up to 5 players, but it would be the subsequent year. Like let's say in the draft you end up with 1934 Yankees, and you grab Gehrig. Then going into the next year, it could be like, hey, I'm going to keep Gehrig, but I get 1935 Gehrig. So we could still apply that unique thing that we've been wanting to do with, if you protect somebody, you got to get stuck with their following year. Um, but that may be the way to go, because to me, that's really the only way for it to be a more even playing field. Um, and maybe we scrap that franchise idea. I think he went to it because we were really trying to get more and more people, and we did. We grew the league to 14. We've had other people express interest, and I mean, I think it'd be a kick if we had 20, 30, anywhere 20 to 30 people in the league. I think it'd be awesome, because it's just a blast. The draft, and then what I like is the non obligation factor of, if you want to submit a few lineups and put your thumbprint on your team, great. If not, you don't have to. And then we can broadcast a few games and highlight some of the teams and show them off. And then what did Beatles say? Just within a couple of weeks, we knocked the whole thing out, right? And then we can spend a couple of weeks thinking about the next format and go on to the next draft. And people don't feel like it's an obligation of, oh my gosh, I've got to manage my team and submit rosters every week and all that nonsense, right? You can be as involved after the draft as you want and still have fun from the draft. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. And the idea of this league was the camaraderie, but it's also the research aspect, right? It really causes you to really get familiar with some of the seasons maybe you didn't know, or teams you didn't know, or players from the past. And and Arnold, you are in 100% sure on that. And I think that's, we can figure out how to incorporate that in there, and it's pretty cool. It could be fun. Yeah, I'd be interested to go all the text saying but I would need to be here for, and where on the weekend, especially Saturdays, I'm gone. Yeah, and you know what? I don't think we did anything on a Saturday. I think we found some evening, like a Thursday night or something, and then like the following Wednesday or Friday, where most people could be there. And the other thing that's so cool is Clue's got a whole system where he tries to he makes sure that the people, when you get your random grouping, you don't ever get like the same, like year or and team or something like that, and he had worked out a bunch of possibilities. One of the other cool thing is we've had people that couldn't be there for the draft or for all of it, and then all they did is get like a random list of, say they missed the last 5 picks. You just get your last 5 picks would say like 1942 St. Louis, 1912 whatever, and then you just have to be aware of who had already been taken, and then you could go ahead and draft at your leisure if you couldn't get there. So we're really flexible with that. It's not like one of these where if you're not there on draft night or for all the rounds, you're screwed, right? Because of the way this league kind of gets spread out with the choices. There's still a lot of great players to choose from, so it's very flexible to participate in, and it's a blast. So appreciate everybody being here, and those of you closing out the night with me, Arnold and Texas Ags and Dwayne hanging out here with me. And um, I know it's getting late for me. I'm an old man, but it's 11 o'clock at it's 11 o'clock at night here on the Mountain West, and I'm like, hey, I'm 57 now, so I'm like, man, that's late for me. 11 o'clock with the hours I keep now. Back in the old days, I'd be up to 2, 3 in the morning all the time. But anyway, appreciate everybody hanging out, and Um, look forward to Sunday if you can tune in. Oh, Beatles is still hanging out. Look at this guy. I didn't know Beatles is still here, hanging out, lurking in the background with that, hanging out, checking this out. But let's take a look at Sunday. If you can be there, tune in to my channel. I'm going to fire up StreamYard and test that out because I want to start having the capability to have some of these, what we call the fireside chat type of things where we bring everybody in um, to have some stuff, and I'm going to test that out and bring Slovak in to talk about his project, and we'll have fun Sunday. But definitely glad. Oh, good, you got beam. You were old enough to be my babysitter there, Texas Ags. That's what somebody told me one time. I had somebody, I don't know what they were, 46 or something. They're like, you're old enough to have been my babysitter. I'm like, oh, okay, great. But yeah, I definitely will be there, and it'll be fun. We're going to have Slovak is entertaining. If you didn't catch Beatles and Slovak together on there, he's like having it'd be like Johnny Carson having Robin Williams on. You don't have to really do anything. You just let him go. You know what I mean? It's like he's entertainment, he's informative, it's interesting stories and everything. And he's really passionate about this state thing. And he's really, and I've never been a big fan of European soccer or any of that stuff, but the idea, I always think in terms of a season or a tournament. This pool plays got me really intrigued of how I could take that to other projects with my files and have a small little like pool play and then move on into an elimination round. So I never thought I would be into this format or even trying to build this project, but he's got me all excited for it, and his enthusiasm has rubbed off. So appreciate everybody hanging out here tonight. It's been fun. I may pop out again. I'll be there Sunday morning. I'm going to try to get out of the house, play some golf, and do some stuff, some chores, and work on this file. But you guys have given me some great thoughts, and I'm going to have to remind Clue of that we might be to a point where if we can get enough interest, we scrap this whole franchise idea and open it up to everybody. It's just like the lottery, right? You get your scratcher, and you don't know if you're a winner or not. You get your random team and year, and man, you're really restricted because if you get a year with any given year, there's great players to choose from, but it can be a little bit a lot more challenging if you're given, 1971 and okay, great. Now what team? Oh, what did I get? The Expos. Who knows? Maybe there's a jewel in there. So I think it'll be fun. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody, or it's tomorrow morning, Saturday, actually, for some of you a little east of me. So glad you could all be here, and we'll see you down the road on another broadcast.